Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining,
the show where we're driving traffic from Sicko the Clown of Nashville, Tennessee.
I do not understand the reference.
So we were going through analytics on YouTube and we were looking at where we were getting traffic from because we got a new subscriber. His name's Cliff. I don't remember his last name, so thanks, Cliff.
Shout out to Cliff.
Yeah. So we're looking at this and there's really, every once in a while, there's some wild videos that people get recommended here from. It's like the Chapo Trap House, some shit about Hillary Clinton. I don't know anything about what that is. And then there's Sicko the Clown.
Because, I know I've been recommended that Chapo Trap House video. It's got to be the same one I've seen a billion times that I haven't watched because I don't know anything about the Chapo Trap House.
Right. It puts me ill at ease, but I don't know what it is. Maybe I should look into it. I don't fucking know.
And, you're like 2 clicks away from falling down a fascist rabbit hole.
Well, it depends.
It does, but if you watch enough history stuff like I do...
Yeah. Oh, no. You start watching a few videos and it's like, was this a Nazi fairy tale or something? There was something about people who got married up in, like, Hitler's eagle's nest or something.
Yeah, you watch, and it comes off of innocent stuff, too. Like, the recommendation engine is unhinged.
I mean, I'm still, like, interested in some of the stuff. It's just really hard to find a source where I don't start getting, like,
And then, if you are willing to indulge the kind of slightly sketchy ones, then you are a click away from...
It's fucking wild. I'll put in some things because I'm interested in, like, the declassified stuff the CIA does, right? Because I'm just, like, a weird person.
You mean you're a weird person who wants to know what the government did.
Right. Well, yeah, but then if you ever start saying, like, hey, so MK Ultra was really wild, right? People start looking at you like, uh-huh. But it was, man. It was fucking wild.
And it was real.
Man, fucking Canada, man. The thing in Canada.
Woohoo! Politics.
Yeah. Anyway, well, you get interested in that, and then all of a sudden I'm start getting recommendations about, like, aliens and flat earth conspiracies, and it's like, you are so close to this shit really from anything. It doesn't even have to be the history thing. Yeah. But if somebody is getting recommended to us from a bad place, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yes.
We can change you.
we will can fix you. I can fix him. So this week, I get to go first. So does anyone want to tell me what happened last time with the X-Men?
Bobby Drake is bad at being straight.
That's true. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. We read a couple of annuals.
Yep.
The first one was a Hulk annual, where the Hulk was getting fixed forever.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Spay and neuter your pets.
Oh, no. The Hulk is not pet.
Hulk is not pet.
Hulk will smash.
No, he was being cured of his Hulkness by a fucking luchador.
God, what was his name? The guy...
Dr. Samson.
Who is both a doctor and a superhero simultaneously.
He's not a superhero. He's just like that.
That's worse. That's actually worse. He dresses like a wrestler.
He does. So he was being cured at Gamma Base, and meanwhile, Warren is with his girlfriend, and Bobby shows up with his girlfriend, and Warren...
They were invited.
And Warren is, like, shirtless.
And Bobby is feeling inadequate and being very bad at being straight.
Yep. And then...
Tension is luckily broken
when they get attacked by a bigot.
True.
They get hate crimed in the middle of the mountains.
By a massive robot.
Yeah.
A sentinel, even.
A sentinel,
but not just any sentinel. Master Mold?
Master Mold!
Only, it's also a guy.
Yeah, well, that's spoilers.
Yes. I'm sorry, spoilers for what happened last week?
Master Mold captured them, and in the process also made the Hulk mad.
And you don't like him when he's angry.
And he took Bobby and Warren up to his meteor base because everyone fucking has those in X-Men comics.
Well, because it's the same meteor base that the X-Men fucked a while back.
Well, yeah, but, like, he's not the only person who's had one.
No,
Magneto presently has one.
Space is lousy with meteor bases, don't you know? I mean, they've got a kind of a orbital problem at this point.
Yeah, Marvel's got kind of a weird thing going on there.
So...
It's got, like, a meteor. It's got a belt.
I'm surprised that these things don't run into each other from time to time.
So he took them to his base, and then Hulk was there, and...
Because he just grabbed on and held on until they got inside, and, air. Hulk is fine now.
Hulk woke up and started smashing things, as he does.
Oh yeah, Hulk got put in a blob chamber.
He did.
Because the Master Mold thought the blob chamber could hold Hulk. No.
He didn't have anything prepared for Hulk, and the blob chamber was the biggest one, so...
And hey, if it's good enough for Blob, it must be good enough for anyone.
I don't know. So, I mean, to be fair, Master Mold is made to fight mutants. He doesn't know shit about Hulk.
No.
So, Hulk escaped, and he started tearing shit up, and Warren went to, like, find a way off the place, because they realized they were in space, and Bobby was following Hulk around, and Hulk found Master Mold and started attacking him, and Bobby realized that Master Mold was not acting like a robot because he was, like, laughing and being surprised and emoting.
Yes. He was a guy. He was a whole entire guy.
They found
GPT.
They found out that he was
either an actual guy, or he was a chat GPT prompt with
Yeah.
a really long description, and we don't actually know which.
Yeah. So, he was Lang. I forgot his name.
Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang, who didn't create the Sentinels, but...
Inherited the Sentinels.
Knocked off the knockoff Sentinels.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then got blued up by the X-Men. But, except he is alive.
No, he
and-
didn't get... Oh, wait, okay, you're talking about... Okay, I thought you were jumping ahead.
The man is in a persistent vegetative state.
Correct.
Yes, he's alive, and Warren was like, no, he's alive, you can't be him, and Master Mold was like, I have an identity crisis now.
Someone is messing with my prompt. Stop that. Stop that.
So Hulk fucking demolished him.
You know?
Like, literally eviscerated him and destroyed all his guts.
Hey, X-Men, why don't you just ask the Hulk over? Just let him stay. That'll solve, like, 80% of your problems and cause... yes, it'll cause new ones, but it'll solve your old ones. You will no longer have old problems. Magneto will not be able to bother you anymore. I promise.
So then they went to leave on an escape pod, but Hulk was like, I'm gonna stay and kill the robot.
But you'll die! And Hulk was like, I've jumped from further up.
He punted them out of the thing, and they fell back down to Earth.
And then it exploded, and
then the meteor base exploded, and they were like, oh god, the Hulk was still up there. But no, he wasn't. He actually rode the escape pod.
He rode the escape pod all the way to the ground.
Because he kicked the thing out, and then got sucked out by the vacuum of space.
And then grabbed onto the thing, because what else are you gonna do?
Just a comedy of errors.
Look, Hulk is strongest there is. Hulk is not smart.
I constantly underestimate the Hulk's comedic potential.
So anyway, Hulk went back to Gamma Base, and...
Was the Hulk issue the thing that we threw in to balance stuff out?
I don't remember.
Because if so, A+. A+ on choice.
Yeah, good call.
No, it was the X-Men annual. It was the other one.
Then just A+ on choice all around.
So, Hulk went back to where he was supposed to be. Warren and Bobby are safe and not in space, and Master Mold is dead forever for sure.
Yes, and there will never be another Master Mold. In fact, there will never be any more Sentinels. They're all gone.
Nothing will happen 30 years from now.
No.
I know what you're talking about. Fuck.
Actually, it's more like 20 years from now.
I know what you're talking in 30 years, though.
I don't even know if you do know what I'm talking about.
Okay, I know stuff will happen at least 40 years from now.
A lot of things happen. Anyway, what happened after that?
The second issue we read was an X-Men annual. Mm-hmm. And there was a guy named Aircon.
Yeah.
They fought off-brand Thor, who was kind of a bad guy.
And there was this guy called Air Conditioning.
Yeah, he was,
exactly.
he was a weird sort of off-brand Thor.
Well, he was like an alien from like a fantasy warrior planet.
Yes. You know.
But Conan or something.
Like, he's an Avengers villain, and he showed up in New York, and he beat up Jarvis, and he was like, "Where's Thor?" And Jarvis was like, "He's not here, and he's not even an Avenger right now."
And so he ended up in kind of the wrong book.
So he went after Storm instead, because he needed a person with weather powers. And he got into the X-Mansion and then got completely chumped.
Considering he's an Avengers villain and the X-Men chumped him.
But he managed to teleport Storm to his planet. And then the guys were like, "You killed her," and they continued to chump on him. And then they realized, oh, she's not dead, she just got teleported. So they all teleported.
And then they started to chump his planet.
Right, they did. They completely beat every single person on this planet. And Colossus was tits out on a dragon.
Yeah.
And they got up to this temple where they found out that basically when the Avengers were here, they created this device that fixed their, like... They don't have a sun. They have, like, a magnetic ring that emits light all
and
the time.
Iron Man's boss had to fix the thing, but...
No, Iron Man fixed it.
Oh, he did?
That's why it broke.
Oh, right. Iron Man fixed
Iron Man, he knows a little bit because he hangs out with Tony Stark.
Right.
He doesn't know.
It's not as good as if you would take it to Tony Stark.
He doesn't make the suits. He just wears them.
Right, so... Iron Man fixed a machine and then Thor charged it up with lightning, and the machine broke, and they were like, "Okay, we put it back together, but we need someone to charge it up," and apparently Storm can do this, but it will kill her for some reason.
Unclear.
Because she's not Thor?
I realized this while I was editing the video together, like... It didn't kill Thor to charge it up in the first place, so why is it gonna kill Storm?
Because she is but a mortal woman.
That's all I can figure, but I don't see why it would kill her either.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
No.
But that's the idea anyway. And Storm was like, "It's my choice to do this." And her friends were like, "Maybe don't." And they came up with this plan where... Colossus held Storm up and acted as a ground, and Storm soaked up a bunch of lightning and then threw it at Cyclops.
Who would
absorbed it to eye punch the machine because Wolverine fucking changed the machine so that it worked on eye punches instead of lightning.
Because Wolverine is an engineer on the level of Iron Man. Not Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Yeah, important distinction.
Well, it's gonna break again at this fucking rate.
Right?
And then when Iron Man
It's gonna break again, and they're gonna be like, it's held together with paper clips.
And then when Iron Man comes back, he's gonna have to actually call Tony Stark this time, because somebody set this thing up to work by eye punches.
Yeah, it's been set up to work with, redneck ingenuity.
It works on eye punches. Who even has eye punches?
Who has eye punches in this economy?
He's not going to be able to trick a suit out to use eye punches.
So they fixed everything, and they got new outfits, and all of the men were like 5 times sluttier than Storm was.
Yes. So this is actually a good society, and the Avengers are wrong.
Yeah, it's true. Well, the Avengers didn't say it was bad. I mean, they made the machine that saved them.
True.
It was just Archon attacked them. So.
Yeah, Archon's kind of a tool.
He's kind of a dick, yeah. And then they went home. And it was fine.
Yeah, you got everything that happened, pretty much. So, our first issue for this week is going to be Power Man and Iron Fist from March of 1979.
No.
I was not expecting to see this motherfucker again.
In the hands of the living monolith!
Days.
Also, hey, living monolith, trim your fingernails.
They're pretty short, dude.
But
okay, stop chewing on them then. What's wrong with your one hand?
Need to take a nail file. Like, I mean, like, he's kind of an archaeologist, right? He might have been, like, grinding around in the dirt with his hands.
But now he's like a god. Come on.
Oh, like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, even if you're a god, sometimes you've still got passion for something, and you gotta go dig around in the dirt for a while.
You just gotta, like, pick up New Jersey.
Yes, living monolith, definitely known to do his own work.
Anyway,
and not send mooks.
Tell me about this comic.
So this one's written by Mary Jo Duffy, and a hopefully much more coherent story this time around.
Oh no! Wait, was that the last one time? Was that the?
I think that was the one with
Storm and the.
Was that the one with Storm and the Zombies? I think it was the one with Storm and the Zombies.
Oh Lord!
I thought that was the one with Storm and the Warrior Queen.
It could have been the one with Storm and the Warrior Queen. I'm not sure.
But either way, neither of those were particularly coherent.
No.
Penciled by Trevor Von Eden, inked by Frank Springer, colors by George Rousseau, and lettered by Irving Watanabe. 2 new names here, so let's learn about these guys. First we have Trevor Von Eden, who's had a pretty decent career at both DC and Marvel, though from what I've read, it seems like he's spent more time over at DC, where he was supposedly the company's first black artist at the age of 16.
Nice.
Wow.
And Frank Springer's also had a lengthy career, though it looks like, as opposed to a lot of the new guys, he mostly came out of, like, the late Silver Age, so he's a little older than a lot of these kids. But don't let that make you think he's some stodgy old fuddy-duddy, because the guy's known for one of the first adult comics, The Adventures of Phoebe Zeitgeist. Seems to kind of be in the vein of Barbarella.
Oh!
Sexy. So I'm sure you're eager to get into our favorite Egyptian, so let's get to it.
Our favorite white Egyptian.
God, where's that picture of the whitest pharaoh?
So we're going to get dropped into the middle of something here.
Oh.
Luckily, Mary Jo's given us a summary, so let's get up to speed. Honestly, I'm just going to read it. I don't have more context to give you. I didn't read the lead up because I just had this weird feeling like you didn't want to read a bunch of Power Man and Iron Fist just for the adventures of the living pharaoh.
What? You mean I don't want to read about Power Man and Iron Fist back when they were way more cringe than they are now?
God.
Wow, you deem them cringe. Also, please remember, this takes place a little bit before that annual we read last episode. The X-Men are, like, just getting home. Last issue, Power Man and Iron Fist were hired to guard the treasures of Tutankhamun on display in New York. The treasures were stolen.
Damn it.
And suspecting that someone who worked at the museum was involved in the theft, they went to question Professor Abdal, one of the archaeologists who hired them.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, amazingly this man was just able to get work in his field again.
When you're a well-known archaeologist, sometimes you can be an evil supervillain, but, as long as you still publish.
But when they reached his apartment, they'd found he'd transformed himself into the living monolith!
Yeah, sometimes, publishing isn't enough money.
On that note, why did he hire them? For insurance fraud purposes?
Right?
Because if this is all a money thing, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Look, this is just normal in academia, okay? You can never make enough money being an academic. You can't in the real world. There's no reason you can in the Marvel world. Sometimes you have to be an evil supervillain. And sometimes you just commit insurance fraud.
I want more movies like that. Luke starts us off with the understatement of the century that this could be trouble. Nah, I'm sure it's fine.
It seems fine to me. I don't see how this could...
We've got this situation under control.
It's normal, actually.
Where, like, a guy who punches good... 2 guys who punch good, actually.
Yeah, 2 guys who punch great should be able to handle this.
Against a giant god man.
Yeah, it's
with
not like...
beams!
we've seen Thor take this guy.
But yeah, It seems that Luke and Danny were all part of the plan. The kind of confusing plan. So first, I steal everything in the exhibit, replacing the items with replicas.
So it is an insurance fraud.
Step 2, convince my colleague to hire Power Man and Iron Fist to protect the exhibit. Step 3, hire thieves to steal the counterfeit items with the near guarantee that Danny and Luke are up to the job of catching the guys, hence revealing the counterfeits and leaving these two to take the blame for being shitty security guards.
Oh my god, I was right. It is insurance fraud.
Step 4, profit?
Oh my... Academia doesn't pay! Can't you tell?
We might have more answers if we read the book, but too bad, so sad.
Look, it doesn't
fine.
matter. My explanation is the best explanation you're gonna
No,
get.
it works for me. I'm good with it.
But Rand realizes something is up because he should not be able to be the living monolith. Alex Summers should be living in seclusion where surely this time the living monolith can't find him, right,
no
guys?
fucking way.
Surely that would work.
Because they didn't find him in Scotland before. So what gives? And Abdal, meanwhile, is gloating
Wait.
about...
How does Danny know this? Do they just share notes on all their supervillains across different teams?
Do they just get together and have, like... I mean, it makes
They
sense.
must have, like, superhero conventions where they share all their notes.
It looks like they met up in Defenders, which... This might be this really terrible fucking
I met a young
two-parter
during my stint with the Defenders, I met a young mutant named Havoc. Okay.
So,
Havoc just told him this.
Yeah.
Havoc just told him this.
The man needs therapy, but therapy's expensive, so Danny Rand it is.
Therapy's expensive. and okay, more than that, don't forget, it's like the 70s here. Therapy for men? You mean the bar?
Yeah, going to the bar and having a few too many brewskis and then drowning your sorrows with your buddy.
Yeah, these guys aren't getting therapy.
I think that's pretty clear of most superheroes, frankly.
Yeah. And also Mankini Man here.
Abdul, meanwhile, is just gloating how they don't know he's the monolith now, so he's just going to destroy them. And then no one will be able to trace this theft down to Abdul's presumably super fucked up apartment, right?
Right? Because he's fucking huge?
Where is he right now?
That was just a fight with the wrecking crew, yeah. Outside, and they only destroyed my apartment.
Oh, it's more fucking superhero insurance fraud, like we were talking about last time.
Oh my god, he's committed double insurance fraud!
Look, academia doesn't pay! How many times do I have to explain that? His motivation makes perfect sense as long as you remember, academia doesn't pay the bills.
And Luke's immediate reaction to this is, well, at least he hasn't thought of our secretary yet.
Great.
Give it time.
So when they find squished Iron Fist and Power Man scraped off on some grass, they can ask his secretary and she'll be able to tell them about the job.
Right.
He says he's taking care of Meridu and everyone else. Meridu's the other guy from the museum. I didn't mention that earlier. So, if so, why set up this whole scheme? Does it just mean they're not going to bother with it anymore, or has he taken care of them?
Right.
I mean, Abdul is kind of an idiot. We do know that. So, Iron Fist and Power Man give a shot at fighting him, and then, completely inconsistently to his plan, Abdul just swats them away out like, yeah, fuck off, losers, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then Kool-Aid Man's through his own roof.
Oh, yeah!
This is just kind of a thing with him, right? Like, Abdul comes up with all these kind of meh plans, but, like, they mostly work out until they get stopped.
We make fun of his mankini all the time, but I think the worst thing about his design is the fucking pulsating void in his eyes and mouth.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention it, but that is absolutely the truth. I don't know why his eyes and mouth look like this.
They're terrible. I hate them so much.
Agree. Hard agree.
But, like, Abdul comes up with all these plans, but then as soon as he turns into the living monolith, the living monolith doesn't really care about any of the plans, and he's just like, I'm the living monolith, I'm up to fuck shit up now.
Oh god, Abdul's actually a somewhat competent guy. It's the living monolith who's the idiot.
Like, he gets the unlimited power, and it just completely goes to his head, and he can't think anymore.
And he can't double insurance fraud.
He doesn't stick the landing. So, with a million loose ends, he just grows through the roof like deuces, collapsing the roof down onto Danny and Luke.
They'll be okay.
Yeah, they're fine.
I mean, okay, one of them is fine.
Yeah, I was about to say, Danny's a little bit more.
I mean, Danny,
just keep punching.
Danny, you don't need to tell Luke that the roof is falling. He'll be fine. You need to worry about the roof falling.
Just powdering the fucking building.
Just punching super fast so you hit all the rocks before they land on you.
A short ways off, the X-Men, or at least a few of them, we got Scott, Kurt, and Aurora. And they are accompanying Colleen and Misty to meet up with Danny and Luke. It seems like the girls might have some business to talk, or at least Misty does. It seems like while Misty and Colleen were off in Japan and then Calgary, the boys struck off on their own, breaking off of Misty and Colleen's detective agency.
Wow, rude.
Incredibly.
They're near enough to see, though, when the monolith erupts through the roof.
Oh, okay, that is not the Kool-Aid Man. Definitely not.
And look, one of the new X-Men actually knows about someone they're fighting this time.
He actually he did the homework.
He read the brief. There was a brief for him to read. What? Scott, are you getting more competent as a leader?
He's learning. It looks like Kurt's been studying, so Misty's heart...
Oh, Aurora also recognizes him.
Nice!
They're
nice job, guys.
So good.
Yeah, when they got back, he definitely had a cram session.
Yeah, because, after realizing I didn't teach them how to fight Magneto, and we had to fight Magneto...
Aurora went from not having gloves on to having gloves on.
But
what she's doing conjuring up this mini storm cloud is really cute, though, and Kurt's like, you should put that over Scott's head.
Yeah.
So that's all pretty cute. Misty's heart drops down into her stomach as she realized that that's right around where Jenny, the secretary, said that the boys had been sent. So Scott's mind has likewise been sent racing down that same track Danny was on earlier, making record time as he immediately assumes his little brother has been attacked by the living pharaoh for a third time.
That's fair.
Right, it seems like a pretty reasonable assumption, all things considered.
I feel like there's a math problem here in his brother gets attacked by the living pharaoh half as many times as he ends up in a plane crash.
So he immediately orders Kurt and Storm to stop him so he can't cause any more damage, and so Scott can find out what the hell Abdul did with Alex. Misty calls him off, though, reminding him that there could be survivors in the building.
Including Luke and Danny.
Right. I'm sure this has nothing to do with the fact that your boyfriend's inside.
I mean, at that point, including Luke.
No, Danny could be fine. He could have punched the rocks fast enough before they fell on him. We already covered this.
Or maybe he used the Unbreakable Man as a shield.
Right. Or Luke saved him because they're friends.
Yeah. She's right, but, I honestly don't know if the X-Men are the right people to handle an unstable structure emergency.
And they're also not great at the whole,
I think the people they have are not equipped for this situation, frankly.
Exactly. If they had Jean or even, Colossus, that'd be kind of fair, but I don't see how this crew's really equipped to do much about
Kurt
it.
is going to hold on to the wall.
I mean, he could teleport in and try to find people, but, if shit falls on him, he can't do anything about it.
And he can only teleport in if he can see where he's going.
That's true.
Or at the very least knows there's a place to go, if he really tries hard.
I think they're much better suited to the go fight the big guy situation.
I mean, maybe pull him away?
I've been doing a lot of arguing with Mary Jo this issue.
Fair. Look, we've been down that road before. This is so far more hinged than the last one.
Right, we're definitely more on track. We have not been allowed to go spinning off into wild fantasies.
Either one of them involving Aurora, though we can't remember which one, but either way, it was unhinged.
But Scott agrees that he was definitely following his heart there and not his head. So he sends Storm off to keep tabs on the monolith while he and Kurt head off with the girls to check out the building. Kurt then bamfs out of his clothes.
Yes, he does. I did not
And he's got his costume on underneath.
Kurt, you don't need to wear that under your clothes. You can just wear clothes.
Maybe it's just being ready all the time.
Hypervigilance, oh no.
When they make it there, the apartment building is in shambles. Kurt can't see in through the collapsed entryway, so he can't even bamf inside to check for survivors, so that was all pointless.
Scott, no.
Though the panel of Kurt's clothes hanging in midair is cute.
It's funny.
So once they get there, Summer's ready to make Kurt an entrance, but Misty stops him again, reminding him that could collapse the building.
Scott, that kills people.
Exactly, like, yeah, why did you want him here? What was he gonna do otherwise?
This is
organize the fucking civilians out on the street into a fucking debris pile.
God.
Yes, that's exactly what they're gonna do. Non-mutant solidarity at work, everybody.
Why did you want him here? Like, Scott, don't go follow your feelings. You have to follow my feelings because my boyfriend is in this collapsed building you can do nothing to help with.
Right.
So Scott pretty much throws his hands up in the air like, fuck you want me to do here, woman? When Iron Fist effectively does what Scott would have done anyway, fisting them back out of the building.
And kills multiple people in the process.
Right, it's like, no one is considering how many other people are in the fucking building. Like, that's not sorted. We haven't bothered with that. But I guess it doesn't seem like it's collapsing, so I don't fucking know.
Also, remember, this is like the two people she cared about, so...
I don't know who else is in this building. Like, they said it was an apartment, but it looked more like a brownstone or something. While Danny absorbs all the affection like a big golden retriever, Luke introduces himself to the X-Men. He then reminds his partner that they have a whole situation to take care of, before they decide to ask the girls to get their secretary somewhere safe where Abdul can't get to her. Cyclops decides the X-Men are on the monolith, and Luke and Danny are off after the stolen artifacts.
Someone has to deal with the insurance fraud.
It's a thankless job, but somebody's gotta do it. Before they split up, Cage does set Scott's mind at ease, mentioning how Abdul said he hadn't fucked with any of the X-Men.
Is Alex a member of the X-Men right now?
Kinda, sort of. I think he's on the B team.
Reserve.
Yeah, the reserves. There we go.
So he's on payroll. Okay.
He's a reserve X-Man. I like it. So Danny and Luke stalk off with no real idea where they're actually heading. But Danny thinks he's got a lead. Because that last little adventure with the Pharaoh, I guess he had Havoc stashed away not in the Egyptian embassy, but the Halwani embassy.
The what now?
Yeah, looking up Halwani has only granted me bread companies and football men, so I'm guessing this is a Marvel country.
Yeah.
From one of the mini wars.
Mm-hmm.
The wars that they have to move because time marches on.
We were just talking about this before recording.
But the problem is this is too early for that.
So they head over there, and upon knocking on the door, one of the Pharaoh's goons opens up a sliding door panel to tell them to fuck off. But they don't, they just knock in the door. As soon as they do, the goons bust out their gats.
This is an embassy? You're causing an international incident. I hope you know that. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with insurance fraud. They can usually get away with that sort of thing.
Luckily, their fire's mostly concentrated on Luke, and with his bulletproof skin, that's nothing more than like an annoying BB pellet. It's so easy to kick their asses, they barely even bother to show it, which honestly I appreciate. I don't want to waste valuable pages watching these losers get clowned on again.
Right.
After making their way properly inside, Danny and Luke stumble upon a treasure trove of plunder. Not all of it from the exhibit, though not everything from the exhibit is here.
That's odd.
They then pause around a small table with a crystal aligned to magnetic north. I honest to God Don't know what the fuck he means because it has multiple sides.
How does he know?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't know, is the cracked surface it's sitting on a map?
Does he know magnets?
That or Danny got his navigation badge back in Boy Scouts and has been making sure to keep track of which direction is magnetic north at all times. Danny then turns off the light, leaving the pair cast in the crystal's eerie glow. The crystal isn't among the missing artifacts, but as they continue searching for the rest, and apparently some missing archaeologists, they take the crystal along with them. Suddenly, the monolith reacts, erupting in anger just as Danny disrupts the crystal, deciding that the pair of them are going to check out what's going on northways. The monolith is apparently looking for Danny and Luke's secretary, and the one thing Abdal's apparently got going for him is a great set of eyes, because he spots her easily, even from way above the crowd.
He doesn't have eyes! He has swirling voids!
Well, apparently his swirling voids have better than 20/20 vision.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Clearly.
He's got 20/10 vision. As Abdal reaches down to grab her, Misty and Colleen stand in his way as if he couldn't just easily grab all three.
Right?
Have you seen how big his hands are?
Storm then swoops down to play a fine game of keep away with Jenny.
That might work.
On their journey north,
North.
Iron Fist spots one of the Pharaoh's goons driving a truck down the street. Again, at what point does Abdal tell his guys they can abandon the dress code while driving?
No, the dress code is mandatory. It was on the job description.
You can only wear something different on Casual Friday!
Is it Casual Friday? No.
No.
Then you cannot wear casual clothes at the office.
They then go fight the truck.
Oh.
They sure do.
I'm not really clear on how. I think what they might have done is go to the driver's side door and beat him up.
And
Yeah.
smash him out the passenger side window.
But after subduing the driver, they enter the back of the truck, recovering one of the missing coffins, and inside, Abdal's work colleague Meridu as well.
But what happened to the mummy?
Great question!
It doesn't matter. It's just a corpse.
They just dumped it out! As Rand and Cage talk with Meridu, Abdal feels his power waning. Meridu then tries to explain what's going on here. He's part of a team of experts on early civilizations. They had experts on Mediterranean, Western European, and Central American civilizations, so they were pretty chuffed when Abdal, with his knowledge of Egyptology, wanted to work with them.
Abdal is looking less white than usual.
Yeah, I think they've decided that he is Middle Eastern and they've just been drawing it badly.
Cool.
They've decided to...
Except he's very gray,
He's
which is still
extremely
bad.
gray.
Yeah.
Marvel is not always so good at that, but at least...
Oh no, he's gray in the... Whoa, dear.
Yeah,
oh,
that's
dear.
what we're talking about.
No.
I didn't register that.
Marvel is not always very good at skin colors at this point in time.
They have brown!
They have brown.
Luke is brown!
I don't understand what the fuck's going on here, but yeah. Anyway.
Well, at least the writing isn't falling down on this time.
After one of them discovered the Cheops crystal, Abdal was like, "Ah yes, this will prove my theories of pyramid energy."
Hold
Okay.
on, wait. So, the living monolith's grayness is just his normal skin
Yeah, that's just his
tone?
normal color now.
That's not how that used to be.
No.
No, that used to be him turning into the living monolith. They've decided, no, that's just what Abdul's skin tone is.
I mean, his name sounds Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Could be
So-
something not European.
Right. It was always weird that he was white. And, like, I'm not complaining, but, like, it's weird.
This is kind of the worst way to do it.
And so apparently by putting his co-workers in coffins from the Valley of Kings, he somehow channeled this pyramid power into himself.
What?
Okay.
I just put these random guys in coffins and now I'm the living monolith.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
those coffins used to have people in them. What did you do with them?
Doesn't matter.
Great!
With Meriwether freed, Power Man and Iron Fist decide to leave the other professors to the cops to sort out, because the living monolith is still tearing up the theater district. That's where we find Storm, still trying to evade the Pharaoh as she carries Jenny. But her luck has finally run out, the Pharaoh grabbing them in one big gray mitt. He's mid-gloat when Cage, I guess, knocks him over. It's impressive, if confusing. I would have figured it would have taken more than that, but hey, maybe it's because he's already weakened, because suddenly his power fades the rest of the way, as Abdal shrinks down to merely a normal man.
Who is still...
In a loincloth.
And still gray.
Right, where the fuck did the loincloth come from? That's what I was wondering reading that.
He should be in a tiny silver mankini.
Or the mankini should have stayed the same size, and...
Danny decides that the crystal is too dangerous to be allowed to continue to exist and fists the crystal to dust.
You could have...
It was an ancient Egyptian
It
artifact!
belongs in a museum! No, it doesn't. It belongs with the fucking culture that it originated from.
The culture of magic crystals?
Yeah.
Of Egypt.
Egypt.
See?
It's an ancient Egyptian artifact. It belongs in Egypt.
Maybe an Egyptian museum.
Yeah, there you
It
go.
belongs in an Egyptian museum. So how did you guys feel about Power Man and Iron Fist 57?
2? It was coherent, but
Yes.
not good.
No, there were so many fucking plot holes in this fucking thing. Maybe some of them would have been sorted out, and I will acknowledge that if we'd have read, like, Power Man and Iron Fist 56, but, like, nah, bro.
I get the feeling this is just what this series is like.
Yeah,
So,
well,
yeah.
we didn't enjoy Mary Jo that much last time we encountered her either. I'm at 2 as well.
Same.
What do you think CMRO thought?
4.5.
Also 2.
They were a little more generous than us, but not by much. 2.79.
I see my other guess was going to be 3. I should have guessed 3.
Yeah, but we're still both... That's still both wrong. Best without going over. 2 is the correct answer.
Well, I guessed 2, so...
You win.
What do I win?
Nothing.
Nothing.
So, our second story for the night is X-Men 122 from March of 1979. Written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Byrne, inks by Terry Austin, colors by Glynis, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski. At the front of this, there's some pretty close focus on drug use, so be forewarned about that going in. If it's not something for you, you're not missing anything huge story-wise by skipping the issue and heading on to the next portion. This issue is mostly character moments. I'll try to timestamp that down below.
God, just looking at the cover of this... You know, I opened X-Men 1 the other day, and considering what I am reading now, this feels so much more modern than...
It was such a leap. Even compared to what, like, the other people are doing, though, we're way ahead of our time, and I think that's part of the thing when people look at the end of Claremont's run and they're like, this is nowhere near as good. I think Chris was so far ahead of the game, and then the game caught up.
Oh God, he lived to see Seinfeld become unfunny. You don't, normally when you're that transformative, you don't stick around long enough to see everything else transform around you because of your impact.
So, let's see, the last time we were here, I mean, like, last episode, last time we touched on Storm's recent struggles with being an X-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not the only one who's been feeling a degree of doubt. Colossus, too, has been really struggling to come to terms with his recent failures. And as of late...
But he got his mojo back and had a threesome.
Yeah.
Well, he was still very homesick back in Japan.
And
That's
what
true.
about his sister? His definitely not important sister.
Well, that's it. Recently, the pangs of homesickness have left Peter Nikolaevich Rasputin strained. All of this seems to be coming to a head as he practices in the danger room, bracing his muscles against a hydraulic press. but the press is the one winning. Piotr can't hold it at bay.
Hydraulic press versus Colossus.
I'm actually curious.
You ever watch those videos?
Yeah.
As a mutant, did he have any? Did the Soviet Union care?
I think we touch on this at some point, if I recall.
So we'll get there.
Okay.
Up in the control room, Scott and Logan hear him crying uncle. Psych has apparently been fussing over Piotr all morning. He's run medical checks, but they've all checked out, and Piotr's nowhere near his limit, so why the hell can't he get his head in the game?
The threesome wasn't enough.
That's just the thing, though, or at least that's Logan's operating theory.
Really?
No, not the threesome. I'm not anything to do with what you said. The fact that his head's not in the game.
Okay. That makes more sense.
It would be funny if Logan brought up the threesome, though.
Like he knew. Well, I guess he did.
He did.
He
maybe
would.
Gave that knowing look. That is true.
And if he didn't, we know him. He'd smell it.
Oh my god, gross.
He is gross. We've seen him be gross. We know him.
Alright, well, this whole thing is one of my favorite interactions between Scott and Logan, like, all around. So Scott questions, if he's got a problem, why doesn't he talk about it? And then, presumably, Logan grins at him for, like, a solid minute.
Yes, Scott. I realize that in some parts of the world, people do actually go to therapy, but...
He just stares at him for, like,
Scott
a solid minute. Like... If opening your head to the world was easy as that, Psych, you'd be in a lot better shape than you are.
Exactly.
Be seeing ya.
Logan just absolutely read my boy to filth, just psychologically profiled the dude.
And then he walks away. He did a murder.
I'm babbling here a lot, but this is my
Fucking
podcast. And so I have a captive audience. So this is something I actually love about Logan, and it's something you don't pick up on if you're just reading, like, guest appearances in other comics, which is what I was doing before I actually read X-Men proper. He's smarter than he looks or acts, particularly when it comes to reading people. I also think it's worth noting that Scott and Logan's relationship has definitely developed from how adversarial it was at the start. Like, they still butt heads plenty, and they still argue over Jean.
And it's never really going to stop being adversarial.
But I think a good deal of that is that when we've seen opening up from Scott to his teammates, like we saw last week with Storm. And Logan's gotten a better read on him, I think, is the bigger thing. Like, he's got him figured out now, so I think that's the one thing, like, that's his line. Like, he's got to have you figured out so he knows what your motivations are. Which makes sense because he's been used a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But, anyway, so, like, that doesn't mean Logan's not going to be a shithead, though. He's still got his operational theory, and he's going with that, so he stabs the computer and walks off.
He does it in, like, a stealth way that Cyclops doesn't notice at first.
He did it before he even read Scott like a book, too. He'd already made the choice.
Yep. I mean, that tracks.
He's that kind of guy.
But, he's pretty impulsive.
So, wait, when was this written? What year? 72?
I think it was 79.
79. God. Just looking at this computer panel, it reads way more contemporary than some of the other stuff from...
Yep, we're getting to panels and not weird
gizmos.
Yep.
Gizmotrons with, like, dials and switches.
Levers.
Yes.
The Frankenstein shit.
Yeah, this looks more like an industrial computer panel from, like, the 80s in fiction, when people actually knew what that shit started to look like.
Yeah. So sink or swim, Petey. Wolvie then breaks into the danger room and climbs up into the press with Piotr, lighting up a cigar.
Holy shit. Talk about...
Oh my god.
He's just...
Yeah, Logan's here to give him steaks.
I love Logan sometimes.
I do too. He's great,
the
really.
Tiny Canadian.
He's got his reading on Piotr and he trusts it. He's sure, absolutely sure it's homesickness that's keeping his mind off what he's doing and making him falter. So he's here to give him steaks because the X-Men are very aggressive about Arm Day.
God. like Pyotr and his, "You must not stay, these walls, you will be crushed," and... Oh,
You will be crushed.
You will be crushed! And Wolverine is, "Everyone has to die, Petey. Sooner or later. It might as well be with a friend. I got an idea. What's bugging you, pal? Most of us were loners before we came X-Men. The team's kind of given us the family we never had. But you got friends, family, roots. No law against being homesick. What's stupid is letting it tear up your guts."
Why don't you just see about giving him a trip home once you get everything sorted out?
Right.
Yeah. He knows, and he's willing to die to bank
I mean,
on
he
that.
won't die.
I know, but he's so confident that if it kills him...
When Pyotr again calls up desperately for Scott to shut the machine down, the response is enough to turn his stomach to ice. Wolverine sabotaged the controls. You're stopping the press or it's stopping you.
Oh, God.
And?
That gives Pete the focus he needs, finally jamming up the press and saving their lives.
And boy, does he jam the thing.
Yeah, he does. Pyotr's head is much clearer by the time Scott makes his way down into the danger room to chew Logan out for that stunt, shoving a toolbox into his hands and telling him to work on cleaning up the mess he made.
Well, it's better that than fixing Pyotr.
Right, but Pyotr got therapy.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, God. So this is why they don't see regular therapists.
Because they're all terribly fucking broken, but in a specific way that they're all just, like, taped up together.
They're holding each other up.
Yep.
That's called codependency.
When Peter and Scott emerge from the danger room, they find Colleen Wing in the hallway, waiting for Scott. Apparently, Scott is taking a day off, and he's taking a day off with her.
Ooh.
Well, sort of, because his big day off plans seem to be going down to the phone company to get all the phone lines hooked back up.
Great.
Yay. Thanks, Professor.
They're still getting the mansion out of vacation mode, fixing up the boilers, getting the phone reconnected, getting the Blackbird out of mothballs. With a bit of prodding from Colleen, Scott confesses his unease over the state of the house and Xavier's departure. He thought you were dead!
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we can't call the man, because it's not like he's got a cell phone.
Scott without the self-esteem to consider that anyone would be bothered by this.
God.
A universe away, the day of Lalandra's coronation has finally come.
Ah.
Finding both she and Xavier anxious, as Lalandra steps away to be introduced to the Shi'ar as their empress.
Ooh, boy, we're getting back on that. It's been a
Yeah.
while since we touched the Shi'ar plot. I knew we were going to get back to them eventually.
Right.
Because I know they're a going concern even these days.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Just a brief landing before we find ourselves in Stornoway, Scotland. Jean Grey and co. have apparently finished their holiday trip to Edinburgh and are restocking for their trip back across the bay to Muir Island. Not aboard McWhirter's craft, mind you.
Uh-huh.
He hasn't been seen since Christmas, presumably drunkenly shouting something about his hovercraft!
I mean, whatever happened to him, he clearly deserved it.
She holds a tall stack of parcels in her arms. Between the blocked vision and a bit of daydreaming, when she rounds the corner towards the harbor, she stumbles straight into someone, sending her parcels toppling out of her
I
arms.
swear this guy is dressed like a Victorian.
Well,
He introduces himself as Jason Wingard,
That name sounds familiar.
you should.
as he helps her gather her packages. Though he offers to help her the rest of the way, Jean politely declines, though she does pleasantly consider the possibility of running into him again.
I guess she's moving on with her life.
As the boat pulls away from the pier, Jean notices Jason watching after her as she goes. Finding him strangely familiar, Jason's thoughts are much darker, though, thinking of his intentions to claim her for the Hellfire Club. Look at this panel real quick for me. Notice anything?
Oh, shit. That's really cool.
Yeah.
His shadow looks like the old mastermind.
Yup.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where you recognize his name from, John.
We return to Scott and Colleen as she helps him with his errands. Business finally settled at the phone company. He can finally relax, offering to buy Colleen lunch.
He's moving on with his life.
They both are.
They've
had time to mourn.
And unfortunately aren't aware of what's actually going on. And yeah, I feel like they're still too much in each other's orbit to not discover the truth.
Well, the thing about that, you see, the phone company was a priority errand because he's got to get back in touch with Moira, who is the executor of Xavier's estate.
Right.
Because he's got to get all the bills going back on Charles's account.
Oh my god.
He's gonna make the phone call that fucks this all up.
He's been having to pay them all out of pocket since they've returned.
With what money?
I'm assuming Xavier's got like a trust fund for him. He did pretty much adopt him.
Or maybe there was money under the mattress.
Piggy bank.
Safe?
That seems fair. That seems right.
Yeah, actually that feels right for the kind of old money Xavier feels like he is.
Safe hidden behind a picture.
That he only showed Scott because Scott is his successor.
Effective son.
His heir and successor.
But now he can relax a little, which is something he struggles with.
Oh god, are they getting the look?
But he wants to talk out this little moment that the two of them seem to be having. Among other things, because the whole world's gone pretty topsy-turvy for him lately after losing Jean and Hank, and now with the professor gone. And now with all this with her, it's just a lot to sit with. Everyone gets therapy.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Is that Logan's car?
No, that is the professor's rolls. We've seen his rolls plenty, though. Yeah, Logan must have finished with the danger room, because by the time the evenings come, we find him in the professor's rolls, having given Aurora a lift down to Harlem.
Oh yeah, he's the professor's totally old money.
Oh no, definitely. He is absolutely, canonically old money.
There was money in a safe to pay the bills, I guarantee you.
I mean, he has a mansion in Westchester County.
Yeah, there was money in a safe to pay the bills. Scott didn't have to worry about money.
Well, he just needs Moira to tell him that, I guess.
Well, no, he needs the access to the bank account.
Yeah,
that's
to
the problem.
Continue the forward payment.
Yes, I mean, there's only a few $1,000s in the safe.
Yeah,
he needs the tens of thousands.
I feel confident that he has a trust fund, though.
Oh yeah, but he needs Moira to get to the trust fund.
Yeah, okay. Logan is worried how Aurora's going to handle herself in such a rough neighborhood.
Logan! You don't know her at all!
But she insists, and so he pulls back out onto the road. He had to make the haul down here, so he's got plans to catch a meal and a rodeo before heading back up to Salem Center.
A rodeo?
Maybe they're having something at, Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah, that's what it says. A rodeo at Madison Square Garden. I guess they're putting on a dog and pony show for the city folk.
And that's where he spots her. His waifu, Mariko!
Oh my god.
Oh no!
Cringe!
I guess we weren't done with being weebs.
No, we're never done, baby.
No.
Not when fucking Wolverine's around.
She is, of course, still in full kimono.
Of course. That's the only thing that she has to wear, as we know.
He leaves the rolls parked at the light, rushing off after her.
Logan, you are not seeing that car again. You know that, right?
Much to a local cabbie's outrage.
I mean, if I was the cabbie, I'd start thinking, is he coming back for that?
Cabbie shit.
Is he coming back for that?
He sprints off after her, but she's gone inside one of the buildings, and the doorman won't admit him, so he's forced to go get the car out of traffic.
Sorry.
I can't help.
He is Canadian. Sorry.
Right, but I don't know if he knows how to apologize.
Yeah, I don't know.
His least Canadian trait.
Yeah.
Aurora is trying to rectify the Harlem she sees with the place of her father's rose-tinted tales and her own scant memories.
Well, that's the thing. Harlem used to be doing a little better, and these days,
Yep.
the economy's not so hot.
In its rundown state, it's impossible to sum the equation out. She wanders the streets for a long time before finally finding her way to her childhood home, little more than a ruin. The scent of a recent fire seems to cling to everything as she climbs the stairs. She's never been fond of cities and their lack of nature. In her father's tales, this was a wonderful place, where he'd grown up and built a family. This crumbling tenement seems anything but.
Oh, I'm sure it was great.
She turns the doorknob to her old address and wanders into a room of strung-out young people.
Oh, wow, is that guy is the guy in the lower left just...
Shooting up?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Holy, 1979!
Yep.
Okay.
I'm shocked that the Comics Code didn't have something to say about
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, because this isn't subtle. This isn't an oblique reference.
No, they outright say heroin.
I'm not even reading the words. I'm just looking at the pictures and seeing, wow.
Many, but not all of these lost souls are so lost in their hide they barely even notice her arrival. But one of the young men, Bluey, draws a knife on her, advancing on Aurora. He threatens her, demanding money to let her leave in one piece.
Idiot.
Yeah, Bluey's bitten off a bit more than he can chew, with no idea of the amount of training Aurora's had.
The numbers of the kinds of training.
Her hand shoots out fast as a viper, seizing his wrist in her hand and squeezing hard to disarm him. And yeah, that's enough to make the others take notice, drawing their own blades to back up their friend.
Oh no.
They've got the numbers. She can't disarm them all. She tries to talk them back, but the closest makes a slash with his knife, cutting her outstretched hand to the bone.
Ow.
And the building erupts in a flash of lightning and an explosion of wind, making the detritus of the drug den into a whirlwind of grime.
Ugh.
Even injured, she manages to control herself, stopping shy of damaging the structure around them. All said and done, they're still little more than kids with a problem. While she focuses on his friends, though, Aurora has lost focus on Bluey. But he hasn't lost focus on her.
Oh, god damn it.
I'm gonna give him points for bravery because I'd be running for my life, leaving a trail of piss in my wake.
Yeah, probably.
But nah, he's gonna try to stab her again.
That's a mistake.
Or he thinks he's gonna, because for a second time, the attacker's wrist is grabbed in a much meatier grip this time. Luke Cage then slams Bluey up against the wall. And that was him going easy on the kid.
Well, yeah, he only slammed against the wall, not through.
Against.
Or through the exterior wall, which I guarantee you Luke Cage could have done.
It's not just him, though, because Misty Knight has also come along with him. Apparently, word of Storm being here has made its way around the neighborhood. She is fairly distinctive.
That's true.
She's like, 7 feet tall with a bumpet of silver hair.
And she never takes off her fucking headdress.
And she was wearing some kind of fur coat.
Right. She's a bit distinctive. She's hard to miss. And when one of the buildings started having some rather unusual electrical activity, they thought she might need a little help. Her life might be saved, but Aurora's heart is broken at so much human wreckage. But Luke has nothing to buoy her spirits. Scott's heart, on the other hand, is relatively light as he sees Colleen off to the train station. Though parting is such sweet sorrow, yada yada yada, Colleen leaves him with an envelope to read after she leaves. And as the train pulls away from the station, he dutifully opens it, finding a key to Wing's apartment.
Oh my god!
And an offer to drop by whenever he pleases.
Oh!
This girl moves fast.
Oh, Scott, you, So Scott's getting laid, right? like, Scott fucks, doesn't he?
Well,
I
yeah.
think Scott definitely fucks me.
Categorically.
And we can now list Colleen as one of the people in the list of...
Well, we'll see.
Maybe we will.
I mean...
It depends on if he gets the opportunity to go to the apartment, don't you think?
Come on. I figure he's already been to the apartment, but this is just an official...
Well, we were just talking about how he's about to call Moira.
Yeah, that's a problem.
We've hopped all over the universe this issue, so what's one more hop across the pond to London? Heathrow Airport, to be specific. I never said it was going to be a long trip because this bird's bound back for the States.
Great.
The 747 climbs through the clouds, a private jet carrying its passengers to their destination in opulent wealth.
You know, that is actually a configuration I have heard of. A 747 with no main body windows. That's a real configuration. Cargo configuration. But it is real.
Hey, I mean, you can make it be whatever you want, right?
I know.
It's his thing.
I know, but this is the series that actually likes to draw real planes.
They do like to do that. A hottie in a super low-cut red dress with a sexy thigh slit up to here.
Way out there.
Yeah.
She walks through a golden curtain, introducing herself as Ms. Locke to the passengers, those being Black Tom Cassidy and the Juggernaut.
The BFFs
Yes.
who died in the ocean.
Yeah, he's the Juggernaut, Tom.
I'll never let go.
And they didn't.
Kane isn't exactly happy about this situation. He thinks they should kill the X-Men real up close and personal like.
Well, he's never been a conniving type.
He doesn't just believe in this whole hiring a hitman thing.
He is the hitman.
He wants the satisfaction of whooping them.
He does the hitting.
But Tom points out that he has tried and failed this like 6 fucking times.
He also does the manning. That was a dumb joke. But it's all I can think of.
Tom's like, doing the same stupid thing over and over in the hopes of a new result is mostly just stupid. But hey, if this doesn't work, we can go back to the old tried and true.
Right.
Because it's been working so well.
Hey, you never know if you don't try.
It is then that the hitman in question chooses to show himself, stepping in with a bone cape, a white suit, and a promise that should they hire Arcade, the X-Men are as good as dead.
No. I have met this fucker. I do not enjoy him. I have occasionally seen some of the stories around him not totally suck, but he himself does indeed suck, and...
Well, this is a first appearance. This is new. He's new.
Recurring character, first appearance.
Yep.
Introduction.
I hate him.
Should honestly just instead keep a list and then cross it off.
It's like, the rest of this thing gets a 4, at least, especially with all the oncoming disasters without this fucker.
The one where the gang gets therapy.
Right.
But they're about to need more, because...
Oh boy, yes they are.
I mean, I'm kind of amazed Scott didn't try to make a phone call anywhere else. Like, payphones do allow international calls.
Well, I guess... I don't know what the fuck the idea is there, but I guess he figures he's got enough he can deal with it until...
No.
He doesn't have any change. All he has is $100 bills.
I know what it is. He's too autistic to do the phone call before he's fixed the phones.
Yeah, he can't... He doesn't want to sit there and talk to the operator and try and explain what the fuck he's trying to do, and he doesn't have the address book, and...
He needs to get this in the right order, or it's going to eat at him.
What if the phone is broken?
Or
where will I find another phone?
Or what if it hangs? Or what if gets hung up on because I don't know he didn't put enough quarters in the thing, and they're in the middle of talking account stuff, and now he has to start the whole process over again.
And it's also damn stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you guys feel?
I mean, I'm giving this one at least a 4, even if we're meeting Arcade. who is actually very bad at murder.
Quiet.
I did read one series where he was a very successful murderer.
That's true.
But that was
he is at least once very successful.
But the problem is...
I guess the problem is when he tries to murder superheroes, like, he just bites off more than he can chew.
When he
just,
murdered
murdered regular guys.
I mean, hey, when he created a murder game where he murdered children...
Yeah, that one worked great.
Yeah, that one actually murdered children. So he's good at that.
His head is a weird shape.
It is strange. Where are you?
There were fun character moments, but there wasn't really any substance, so 3.5.
What I like about this one isn't what it is so much as what it's definitely building towards. This is moments before a disaster, and I love that.
Yep, we're climbing this mountain, and we're gonna let off our passengers at the top, and then it's time to go downhill, and nothing's gonna go wrong. It's all gonna go great.
Well, I understand how that's valuable. I didn't say it was bad.
Okay, what did CMRO think?
They thought 3.81 out of 5.
So, pretty close to 4.
Yep.
Like 4.
I don't remember if I said it, but I'm also at 3.5, because it was a little disjointed, but all of the moments were gems.
Yeah.
That's what I love about fucking Claremont, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the ride again, and this man doesn't use a bone cane anymore.
The bone cane's fucking cool.
It is. I thought we were going to be meeting a very different kind of character. Because...
I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
I know Arcade. Arcade is only good at killing children.
Really, I think all of us are pretty good at killing children if we wanted to be.
Well, he wanted to be.
There's pretty good evidence
for
that.
But the difference is, he wanted to be, and he was.
Of course.
For our next story, we have the B story from Classic X-Men 28 from August of 1988.
Oh, they have a Motley Crue poster. Those kids are no good.
Motley Crue? How old is Motley Crue?
Well, this is a re-release in the 80s, remember?
Right.
Terrified, you hear the jiggling of the door handle, the rap on the door. Little pig, let me in. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in!
Yeah, that Motley Crue poster's just a little too new to fit in a book from 79.
Well, it's not from 79.
I know.
The chop of wood splintering under hammering axe blows.
What the fuck is happening?
And after it's taken enough abuse, she rams her head through. Here's Annie!
Oh.
Back to butcher some more characterization!
Oh my god.
No.
You hate this woman so much.
No.
I have reasons.
We're not going back. We can't go back.
You can see I'm big mad.
Oh no.
That bodes well for what we're about to read.
Oh no. I'm gonna give this a tentative 1, and if it improves, I will be pleasantly surprised.
We have Anna Senti writing, penciled and inked by Chief Lineman John Bolton, colors by Christy Scheel, and lettered by Joe Rosen. A trio of ghouls.
What the fuck?
They're wearing masks.
A trio of ghouls bid the Lord of Lies enter their domain.
Loki?
And a grinning nightcrawler, clad in a cartoonish devil costume despite being a good Catholic boy.
Oh boy.
Is happy to accept the invitation into the costume party. With a joking offer to buy their souls, he steps away with the host of the party. There's some kind of trouble afoot. He agrees to meet to talk elsewhere in the party, and Nightcrawler goes ahead with that, eyes scanning the partygoers, searching for his friends, as Jean thought it would be fun if they all got dressed and headed out separately to see if they could recognize one another.
That's fun.
Huh. Wait, Jean? When is this?
Unclear. This is Anna Senti.
It's Halloween, John.
Oh, I miss Chris. I'm missing Chris really bad right now.
Kurt sees a tall guy with a mask talking to some girl and immediately assumes it's not Colossus, who would be way too shy to talk to girls.
Colossus has had a threesome.
Piotr, who has fucked at least twice, one of which was a threesome.
Yes, Colossus is not... And God, he had a whole whirlwind romance with a lady. He's not afraid to talk to a girl and the Senti.
Well, Kurt just doesn't know that.
No! Kurt ran off to chat up flight attendants with him!
Oh, that's true.
And the Senti, you don't know these characters.
Russia's greatest love machine? Too shy to talk to girls?
Oh my god.
He is! He is!
He then sees a guy who looks nothing like Wolverine chatting up to girls and decides it must be Wolverine.
Yeah, he, shaved his fucking face.
And that's what he looks like. That's what a shaved Wolverine looks like.
Reshaped his fucking face.
No, that's just what a shaved Wolverine looks like. Haven't you ever shaved a Wolverine before?
No, I can't say as I have. He then gets hit on by a cat lady who feels up on his tail, surprised that it's warm. Finally, he's made his way back to the party host, where he explains what's going on. His friend's abusive ex-husband threatened that he'd see her tonight, but she wouldn't see him.
Uh-oh.
So what he wants is for Kurt to keep an eye out for the guy. Good call, he's been shown to have quite the eye.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely...
Great judgment.
He's the most observant of the X-Men.
I like that Kurt's already made outside friends, though.
He would.
Yeah, he's very charismatic.
I mean, if there's the only right thing Anna Cinti has done in this, Kurt almost certainly has outside friends.
He is an extrovert.
And he doesn't usually introduce his outside friends to his X-Men friends because, you don't want to introduce your work friends to your home friends.
Also, it's the whole secret identity thing.
Yeah, but even if he's not being, too secret, he's, they're also work friends. They're not as family as I think Scott thinks they are.
Scott, appropriately dressed like a jester, is making goo-goo eyes with a veiled belly dancer. He's intrigued because Jean would never be so flirtatious. We know that about Jean. That's a totally true thing we know about Jean, that she never flirts.
Sure.
And he's convinced that she wants him to follow her down the hallway, and since he's living up to the costume, our fucking clown here goes with it.
I hope he goes through that window.
Kurt talks to Wolverine, only to find out that he's not Wolverine. Scott makes the first move to make out with the belly dancer, which is very in character for him and makes perfect sense.
God.
That's not... no.
No, he's a hoe, but you've got him wrong. This is where I gotta butt heads with some people, but, the hoishness, Scott's hoishness is a very specific thing. The man's the guy that can't be single. He bounces from relationship to relationship with very little single time in between, but his heart is in it.
I mean, considering Colleen Wing...
It gets him in trouble. Have there been incidences of infidelity? Yes, but they're generally proper affairs, not hookups.
He invests in his affairs. He doesn't just have random sex.
Correct. When he tries to kiss her, though, he realizes she's also wearing a mask under her veil. With her permission, he lifts first the veil and then the mask from her face, eventually revealing craggy, gouged scars across her mouth and cheeks.
Do we know
Do you want to know how I got these scars?
Oh, God. That's not the Joker I ever want.
Sexy Joker cosplay.
That's a thing. That is a genre of thing.
I would love to see that.
They both whirl as a scream cuts the air. Nightcrawler's the first on the scene, as a frightened witch is trying to get her breath back after discovering a stabbed ghost in the corner. She's relieved at first that it's a dummy, before one of the other partygoers lifts the costume's hem, revealing a leg underneath. Suddenly, a clown books it for the door, only to have it entirely taken up by a gigantic mummy.
I'm gonna hazard a guess, yes.
Oh, God, yeah.
Not
subtle.
The clown pulls at the mummy's bandages, revealing the gleaming silver skin of Colossus beneath. He turns again to be confronted by a pile of laundry.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's the costume Wolverine chose, a pile of laundry.
Great job.
That actually feels spot on. I don't feel like Wolverine knows how to costume party.
With nowhere to run, the clown grabs the witch and pulls the knife back out of the ghost to threaten her with it like, "What's one more victim?"
What's holding the ghost up?
It was the knife, I believe.
That knife? I guess it must be a really long knife.
And he's like, "You're all dressed like monsters when you're not ready to be monsters, amateurs. I made my wife a real ghost, and now because I'm a funny clown, I'll make you laugh."
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it is the Joker.
And he draws the knife closer to his hostage's neck. But out in the crowd, a ghost lifts its hood up because the stabbed ghost wasn't the ex-wife, it really was a dummy because this was a setup.
Okay.
That doesn't really help the woman he's threatening.
Well, that's okay because Jean levitates the knife away because the belly dancer was Jean all along.
What the fuck?
Scott very quickly gets to his apologies, claiming that he felt like another person wearing this costume. Which I guess Jean accepts, as after Scott asks to kiss her properly, she agrees. I hate this story. I hate Innocenti. I hate everything.
It's well drawn. It's about all it has going for it.
That was a lot.
What do y'all think of that?
One.
I pre-wonned it, and
You stayed by it.
Yeah, I'm not. This didn't move the needle. One.
Yeah, here we are again with Innocenti and another fucking one.
Does Innocenti end up writing the main?
No.
Oh, thank God.
She does write a long shot one off, though, and it's fucking terrible.
Ooh.
So, you rated that. What do you think CMRO thought?
3.
4.
They rated it way higher than they should have, but it was only 2.47.
Which is more than it deserves.
Correct. And that's it for X-Men. Like I said, the train's going to be leaving the station next episode
Boy.
on her descending trip through the mountains, so settle in for the journey. It's fun.
I'm both excited and anxious because Chris Claremont here.
Don't worry, we tested the brakes at the beginning of the journey. We don't have to test them again.
No, he set up a wonderful disaster.
When Polar Express came out, did you go see it in 3D?
I've never seen it.
I saw it in 3D and I was absolutely terrified, so I can't wait to be on this train going down the mountains.
So, see, here's the thing. I'm looking forward to a train crash, but then we introduced arcade, and now I'm anxious because arcade has usually been bad.
It's fun, though, seeing him introduced.
And so, it's not that he can't... You have... The problem I've encountered with people writing him is they don't take him seriously. If you take him seriously, he can actually be kind of an interesting villain. But you have to take his weird, jokey breed of evil seriously to make it work.
He's a kind of contentious villain in the X-Men's Rogues Gallery.
I'm not shocked.
I've seen a lot of people who are very anti-arcade. I don't mind arcade. But some people love Mojo, and I can't fucking stand Mojo.
How do they love Mojo? What
I don't fucking know, man.
Look, they have no taste.
I have read good arcade stuff. I have not read good Mojo stuff.
Because there are no good Mojo stories. Mojo fucking sucks.
He has the one story, and I know arcade also has the one story, but at least when someone committed to the bit, they could actually go the Battle Royale on it, and that actually kind of works.
Mojo's fucking terrible.
You can't do that with Mojo. There isn't, a more serious, stronger version of what Mojo does. It's just the same dumb Mojo story.
So I guess we're going to be heading on to Thor. So now that we've got you, our captive audience, in between our two segments here, time to run through our stuff. Again, shout out to Cliff. Thanks for subscribing over on YouTube.
Woo!
Woo! Thanks, Cliff.
Thanks, Cliff. For people still over on the audio feed, because I'm still keeping it live for a little bit. Check us out over on YouTube, because we are, as we mentioned before, moving exclusively to YouTube in the very near future.
Uh-huh.
It helps the workflow. It's just easier.
It's a it takes the burden of the money off. So that's not going to be up for more than 1 month more, I don't think.
And you get a more complete experience.
You get a little bit more of the video, though of course it's always best to read the comics. In fact, if you want to read the comics along with us, give us your feedback, you can always hit us up over on our Discord, where we actually have a channel for a comic book club. There's just not anybody with anything to say.
Right.
So all we need is some people to talk with.
And if you really wanted, we could make you bingo cards.
We could make you bingo cards. That could continue to be a thing if you want it. We just can't do it anymore. But I will keep new spaces in mind to create.
Uh-huh.
Because, I mean, just because we're not doing them right now doesn't mean we haven't been thinking about some of the spaces when we run into, like, arcade. Come on! That's a bingo space right there.
I was halfway thinking of just making a checklist to keep.
That might not be a bad idea.
We run across one, we just go, beep.
Social media.
Yeah, hit us up over on social media. We are on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, where I think you uploaded the video of the producer, right?
I did upload video of the producer.
Yeah, the producer is just kind of lazily overseeing production tonight, but she's been very active on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
She's been alternating between sleeping and running around like a fucking crazy person.
As producers are wont to do.
True.
One thing you can do for us over on YouTube, if you just hit that like button, that'd help us out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave us some comments down below what your thoughts are on this week's issues.
Engagement is a big deal.
Engagement would be fucking great.
Get us recommended on more weird videos.
Yeah, we want to expand our reach beyond Spooky Clown's actual nerd shit where we belong and the Chapo Trap House. If you want to throw us a few bucks, though, we're over on Coffee. Toss us a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other than that, I think, on with the show.
Away!
A special haunted Halloween issue here in fucking Rutland.
Yep. So, can you guys tell me what happened last time with Thor?
We were in fucking Rutland.
Why?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know why we were in Rutland.
Well, the first issue we read, Thor and Sif arrived in Christian hell.
Yeah, they did that.
And they fought. Then Thor fought
Mephisto,
the devil.
Yeah. One
ish.
Well,
Loki, Mephisto got dunked into lava, and then
it felt more like the
Thor's
devil's
like,
heart
okay,
wasn't in it as
I'm gonna
much.
leave now.
Yeah.
Like it felt like he could have kept on going if he really wanted to.
Because he didn't want Thor would not sell his soul or whatever.
Yeah. Thor couldn't be broken, so the fight ended.
More or less.
Yeah.
It just kind of ended so much as Thor won.
Then they went back to Earth, and then
brought back their friends.
Yeah, brought back their friends, and then Loki, not Loki.
Well,
a mysterious figure.
Beam just fucking appears, and then also Crusher Krill just fucking appears.
Yeah. Welcome back, Carl. Nobody missed you.
And it's kind of a weird misogynist to Hildegard and Sif.
Yep.
And
oh, that's a character.
Yeah.
That's a thing that will continue.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's just who he is.
Yay.
Apart from his thing with his girl, which I honest to God fucking love.
I love her.
Fair.
I love them.
But, so they're, I don't know, and then Loki went to Tom What's-His-Fuck's house to ruin the Halloween party.
But,
yeah, Tom Fagan's fucking Halloween house.
Yeah, I now know why I don't remember most of that issue, because, oh yay, it's Carl, and he's crushing, and,
It turns out that the guy from earlier that appeared was Loki.
So,
we all guessed immediately.
So 3 pages of the book had anything interesting happening, but
yeah, really.
Even that was predictable. I assume he's going somewhere with this, but
he's going to Rutland for a special Halloween issue.
Yeah, it's a special haunted Halloween issue.
Yay!
Which is, of course, Thor number 207. from October of 1972.
Yes, 207, the most haunted of numbers.
Written by Jerry Conway, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Vince Colletta, cover by Gil Kane, colors by Glynis and letters by Denise Wohl. We have a lot of names because we finally are crediting the colorist and the cover artist.
You've caught up with that.
Finally caught up with that trend. So I take it there have been a lot of cover artists who just never got credited.
I think, honestly, a lot of them so far have just been done by the main artist.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That only really started recently. This cover is okay, but Gil, I will say, Loki has some horrific growths on their legs.
Those are muscles. Those are definitely...
If you just, you were so close to getting this right. If you just cut off that weird lump, it would look like a totally normal leg.
What? And that is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
The other leg is fine. There is nothing wrong here. It is normal and regular.
Well,
we're all fine here.
It's fine.
How are you?
Well, it's Halloween in Rutland, which, as we all know, is quite a big deal.
Are we still doing this nonsense in Rutland?
The streets are packed with revelers as a parade marches past, featuring a float packed with people in Avengers costumes, and also one with Superman and Batman.
Oh my god! You just casually have that happening behind them on a smaller, worse float.
Well, I think it's just perspective.
I know, but there's only...
But yeah, it's only the two of them. And who should we find down in the corner but our old pals, Glynis and Len Wein, Steve Englehart, and Jerry Conway.
But Stan is gone! Why are you doing this? Jerry, you don't have to do this. It's not mandatory.
How could this happen to me?
They've made the long drive out for the festivities. They were personally invited to Tom Fagan's party, and despite their misgivings after the last time, Jerry managed to convince them to make the trip.
God, did they put a fucking note on what the last time was on this? Because I'm really interested. I don't know which order this
It'll come up later, actually. They're a bit tense, but after a moment of conversation, they pile back into Steve's clunker and travel up the hill, moving quickly to avoid any beasts on the road. Despite Steve's prediction of getting there in 5 minutes, it actually takes about 20 because they get pulled over for speeding.
Wow, these guys, what?
These fucking guys!
What is this? And why is it?
Tom greets them at the door, where Jerry clocks that something is off with our festive host. He reassures them and welcomes them in, where we find the place packed with people in costume, getting ready for the parade.
Is he supposed to be Doctor Strange?
I'm confused, because we just saw the parade, but the characters don't say anything about it, so... I don't know.
Hey, wait. Jerry, was this mandatory by Stan? Did Stan make you write this? Blink twice if yes.
No, I think this is something that the newbies all just decided that they think is fun, and I hate.
That's entirely possible that they just thought this was wonderful.
Again, they're a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always want to fucking put your self-insert.
How old is Jerry right now?
We don't know.
Like 16, 17, 18?
I don't know if he's 16, 17, but he's young.
Yeah.
He is a young adult one way or another.
Len and Glynis also feel like Tom isn't his usual self, but Jerry posits that it may be simple nerves, and they should wait to see how he is after the parade. They couldn't possibly guess the truth, that their friend is hypnotized by Loki in the guise of a mysterious drifter who even now skulks in the shadows of the house with the dogs Satan and Diablo.
Alright, wait, okay, so is Tom Fagan, just their older friend, or is Tom Fagan just one of those people who's white-haired early, like fucking Anderson Cooper, motherfucker?
I don't know.
Who is Tom Fagan? Is he also a writer?
He's just the guy who has the Halloween party.
Wait. So Tom Fagan is
a character.
The gateway between worlds.
Yes.
He is the most powerful character in the Marvel Universe.
Yes. All is proceeding apace, Tom assures his master, and all that is left is for Thor to arrive. Even as they speak, the Thunder God, along with Sif and Hildegard, touch down in the darkened woods. Mjolnir led them here in pursuit of the Absorbing Man, but Sif wonders if they've been misled somehow, as the woods seem empty. Little does she know that Carl has simply blended into his surroundings, clinging to a nearby tree to take on its properties.
I love his tree costume.
As they near, he launches a sneak attack that sends Thor flying into a nearby swamp.
That looked like it hurt.
It shouldn't have hurt that much. He's made of wood.
Sif rushes forward, but her concern is unwarranted.
So it's a fucking baseball bat.
Because, again, he has the properties of wood, and Thor is, well, Thor.
Thor is god meat. Her beloved rises from the water with excuses about being tired. That's why he took that blow so hard. I swear, babe, this doesn't usually happen to me.
It happens to most men.
The Asgardians then have an interaction that is annoying in so many ways. Thor announces that he wants to fight Crusher alone, and Sif is like, no, I'm going to help you, and Thor gets mad, which is like, okay, why the fuck did you bring her then? And then Hildy grabs Sif like, the god of thunder must ever be obeyed, because he's a prince and she's sworn to obey his every fucking whim, lest we forget.
Guys, we're all breaking Odin's rules because of him. Why are we paying attention to what Thor says?
This whole exchange is so unnecessary, and it just comes off as Thor having a whiny power trip.
Yeah, this is annoying. I always hate when he does that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Just like, when it's like, no, I gotta fight him alone, I gotta do it. It's
Even though
important.
I specifically brought you here with me.
I gotta do it alone!
Anyway, Thor and Carl start fighting. They talk shit. Thor throws Mjolnir, and Carl is like, you made a mistake by letting me touch your hammer, because now I absorbed the...
You know, why didn't you just punch him until he died?
Because if Thor punches him, then he absorbs the Thorness that he is.
Yeah, but I feel like his skull would be split before that happens. He's made of wood.
No, because he instantly absorbs. Instantly. And then Carl hits the ground for some reason, which causes a huge earthquake for some reason.
Then he turns into the ground.
This turns into a huge thing as the ground breaks apart and they fall into a sinkhole, I guess. And Thor ends up pinned under some rocks.
It's fine. Why is Carl meat again?
He just fucking... Carl's powers
he
are
lost
just
his focus.
Whatever is convenient at the moment.
He didn't expect for the earth to collapse underneath him and he lost his focus.
Yeah,
He didn't expect for the earth to collapse underneath him after he hit the earth and made it collapse underneath him.
Yeah.
And no one ever said Carl was fucking smart.
True.
We return to our bullpen quartet, who went to the local diner to have a bite to eat before the parade. Again, I have to note that the parade already happened on the first page.
Yeah.
And at this point, it really feels like there was some miscommunication between Jerry and John. Glynis takes a poke at her hubby for scarfing down 4 burgers in a row.
Oh boy.
Remembering how he attempted to put together a Morbius costume for the shindig.
Morbius!
Only to have the tights rip when he put it on.
Well, you know how it is with Morbius.
Get morbed.
He tried to get morbed and failed, as you do when you're dealing with Morbius.
Len is like, yeah, well, your costume isn't so great. Who's ever heard of Power Girl anyway?
Wow.
It's all in good fun, of course. They're friends, as Jerry joins in on the playful banter. But Glynis departs to visit the ladies' room, leaving her friends to watch her husband choke down several more burgers.
Jesus fucking Christ, Glenn!
Over the course of the next 20 minutes.
No, he's good. He can just go for days.
It's a bottomless fucking pit.
The guys suddenly realize that she's been gone for quite a while, and they ask a waitress to step in to look for her, but the lady reports that the restroom is completely empty.
Gasp.
Steve posits that maybe
she's done this again?
maybe she went on ahead, but Len knows his wife. This is literally exactly what happened last time.
Glynis!
Which she went missing, and then randomly showed up again. This is deja fucking vu, except it's so much less relevant.
I know my wife. She'd never do such a thing.
Except for last year when she did this exact thing.
Why? What is the... Why? This is something you guys thought was cool. This has got to be something you guys thought was cool. and it's really not.
It makes me wonder if Glynis Ween had, like, a fetish for being kidnapped.
Did she just want to be abducted by...
It's possible.
Honey, you should write our special times into the comic.
Well, better that than someone writing their fetishes into it.
Is it better? Because it's the same thing.
I just said it was a fetish!
Okay, his own personal private fetishes
I
and
see.
forcing on all
No,
of the
he's
characters.
going to... No, instead of that, he's writing his friend's weird fucking kidnapping fetish.
But at least he's writing it onto her!
Is that better?
I don't know.
I feel like that's worse.
I don't know.
I feel like that's like making real people shipping fanfic. It's in that territory.
Carl stands over his fallen enemy, preparing to strike a blow that will end it all.
Will it?
But Thor grabs him and throws him by the ankle out of the sinkhole.
And okay.
I know he's super strong, but being prone as he is, I find it hard to believe the physics of this situation.
Nah, he's just super... His wrists are just...
Super fucking
He never
swole.
skipped wrist day.
I mean, to be fair, the man's got a very arm-centric workout.
That's true.
He literally has to do all this fancy wrist stuff with the hammer. He can't skip wrist day.
Anyway, Mjolnir flies down to its master's hand, and Thor breaks free, only to fly back up and start fighting again.
Wow. Wow, exciting.
It's kind of a fun little break in the fight, though.
Yeah, that was...
He's really getting into it, too. Until he accidentally knocks Carl back into the swamp, where his absorbing powers take in the properties of the water and cause him to horrifically melt into it.
Did you...
Holy shit!
Wait. Did Thor just kill Carl?
This is fucked up, but it does raise a question.
No, I mean, like, he was space gas before, and now he's water, it'll work out.
Can Carl drink water? Can he eat or drink anything, or would it automatically change him into that thing? Like, if he eats a slice of pizza, does he turn into an amalgamation of bread and cheese and sauce?
Okay, no, hear me out. Okay, so I think that usually it's something he's focusing on, right? But we've seen him lose focus before, so theoretically he could turn into a pizza man, but I think if he was trying not to be a pizza man, he would not be a pizza man.
Well, then he could just try not to be water.
But the water...
It's panic.
But also, water isn't very good at not being water. And now he's water, he can't really try.
He got thrown into the water and he panicked.
So,
Okay.
Thor did something worse than murder.
No. It's fine. Thor doesn't really care about it.
Yeah, given his expression, I don't think he cares if he had killed Carl, to be perfectly honest.
No. He considers this turn of fate for a moment before a voice calls his attention, beckoning him to look upon the face of his true enemy.
Not thee. It cannot be thee.
Thor turns and addresses the speaker with disbelief. Though I have no idea why. You really could have guessed this.
Oh
You
my
could have
God.
guessed this.
It's Loki.
It's Loki!
I really like to think that while Thor and Carl were in the hole, Loki was just out here finding the best place to pose.
Oh, absolutely. Loki was sitting here. Loki had the best place to pose ages ago.
Yes.
Was
Loki
camped
has
out
been
watching the
Loki
entire
has been
thing.
sitting there for
Loki's
like...
been here for a while.
Loki's been sitting there for at least the last 5 minutes.
Enjoying
watching
the shenanigans.
Loki has been watching this show, and now finally announces...
This is a handsome
everything.
Loki. I like this Loki.
This actually is a
Yeah.
much better looking Loki
It's a pretty good looking Loki. They're perched in a nearby tree with the full moon framed by the branches and two ravenous dogs at their heels.
And despite Loki, god of mischief and madness,
And then Loki says, I'm not the god of madness. What the fuck are you talking
No,
about?
but more than that. Normally, in the Stan era, when we got reintroduced to Loki, because we always got reintroduced to Loki,
Right.
the god of evil,
Right, it was always the god of evil.
mischief and madness, and
Loki would have straight up been like, I'm the god of madness!
and also Loki would have been intentionally ugly.
Mm.
This Loki is positively handsome compared to the older Lokis.
Yeah.
This is a different Loki.
Fucking thirst trap Loki.
I mean, kinda.
They give the kill command to Satan and Diablo, who both surge forward, their teeth bared. Thor is extremely upset about this, and not happy that Loki is making him fight a couple of puppy dogs.
But at the end of the day, they are dogs, and Thor is Thor.
Though manipulated and empowered by sinister magics, at their core they are still innocent beasts, which the God of Thunder recognizes as beings that he has sworn to protect. So his vows about protecting the earth and innocence extend to animals, which is pretty cool of him. He can't bring himself to hit the good boys, so he uses his go-to move of whipping up a tornado that sends them somewhere else.
I'm sure as long as they land safely, it'll be fine.
That's fine. Cue the sibling banter. Loki compares Thor's compassion to Odin, which I don't think is a fair comparison at all, and neither does Thor.
Loki, you're not up to date on the latest gossip,
definitely not. Thor also doesn't think that's fair, because he's still mad at his dad. Thor then says that the Allfather has seen fit to exile his only son, which is a real dick move to say to your adopted sibling.
Wow!
And Loki is like, oh, that's it, motherfucker, it's on. Look at all these humans that I kidnapped for my evil plan. And suddenly we see a whole shitload of people from the Halloween party.
That's at least a reasonable reason for Glynis to be missing.
Including Tom and Glynis.
You know, I imagine they've also been standing like 20 feet away for like the last half hour, and Thor has just been so focused on first Carl, and then the dogs, and then Loki, that they've just they might have been sitting...
Loki's just been sitting on the tree with, these guys all behind him, just watch this shit.
Well, they're all hypnotized and staring vacantly at the trickster.
Loki still
That does not mean that he didn't look at them like, watch this shit.
You're right.
It's an audience, and they're probably somewhat aware of what's happening, even though they're forced to act. So, captive audience.
And just for the drama.
Yes.
Check this shit out.
And, Thor is like, no the fuck you're not, and Loki is like, say that to my fire sword.
This is such a fucking sibling fight, I love it.
The sword is apparently powered by the life force of Loki's captives, which is pretty cool.
Okay, that's kind of sick, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They slash at Thor, and the flames pierce the godly flesh, searing it pink and raw.
Oh god, and
they actually drew it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and also, this is a weapon that Thor just... Loki read Thor, that Thor can't harm innocence.
Yeah.
And then made a weapon out of innocence.
Yeah.
That actually hurts Thor.
Yeah, Loki's doing a way better job than Mephisto was.
Well, yeah, because Mephisto wanted to win a duel for stakes. Loki would just like to hurt Thor.
Right,
Loki
exactly.
just wants to kick his brother's ass.
That's true.
Like getting your brother to say, I lost, is a little better than, I'm giving you my soul, or I'm working for you.
So Loki's giving a monologue about how good they are at magic, which is mostly irrelevant, but they do mention that they use magic to escape the block of amber that the Mangog trapped them in, if you remember that happened.
Barely.
So it's nice to have at least some continuity on that.
Well, we wanted some continuity for that.
To be specific, they levitated the block of amber while they were still inside it and used it as a vessel to fly to Earth, where they crashed into the ground so hard that it was shattered,
That
which
is
explains
unhinged.
the situation with the meteor.
That
from the last
is utterly
issue.
unhinged. Loki.
That is the best possible way that could have happened.
Loki
frozen in amber, T-posing through all of space.
Just fucking shooting past someone out in the space station is like, what the fuck was that?
on one of the many space stations sees a dude in amber?
And
Was
even though space makes no sound, it's just like,
A Neum is heard over comms, yes.
Loki has got Thor on the back foot and presses their advantage without mercy. Nearby, Hildegard is still holding Sif back from helping because Thor told her to. Sif is in the middle of soliloquizing about how she knows Thor must fight alone, but her heart cares not, and blah blah blah.
You know what sucks? Despite this fucking page having, all women, it does not pass.
It does not pass the Bechdel test.
We're not there yet. I'm not even sure the Bechdel test exists at this point.
That doesn't matter.
I know it, but you're correct.
But the air before them shimmers and coalesces into the form of the Norn Queen.
Who would actually say, do it, coward.
Carnella says that she needs Sif's help finding Balder, and
God
in exchange for that help, she will save Thor.
Okay, that...
I feel like Hildy would not be cool with this, because it's a pretty clear violation of her orders.
It's rule bending. It's not rule breaking.
It's true, but Sif says no anyway.
Damn it!
The battle rages on below. Thor has recovered somewhat, but not enough, as Loki manages to knock the hammer out of his hand.
I'm sorry, does Sif not also want to find Balder?
Sif doesn't know that Balder's missing or anything. Actually, Balder isn't missing.
Yeah.
Last we saw him, he was on a camping trip.
So what the fuck is Carnella's problem?
I don't know.
Well, that's a good question.
This page has more sibling banter, which I think is actually the first genuine look into the complex family dynamic, rather than just me reading into things.
I mean, Stan definitely wrote witty banter between them.
Well, yeah, we finally understand. Well, no, half-brother's still not fucking right.
Stan wrote some banter between them, but he didn't really get the thing, and it was always like, Loki is just evil because they're evil.
Mm-hmm.
But... basically, Loki says that Thor is envious of them, but Thor says it's the other way around because Loki was always the one trying to win Odin's favor by making him look bad. But from Loki's perspective, Thor was always monopolizing Odin's attention, deliberately stealing it away from them, and they grew up unloved because of that.
Oh boy.
That's good.
So even
That's
being
good
That's good characterization.
So even being
Finally,
banished,
some good fucking food.
Yeah.
even being banished is still monopolizing Odin's attention.
Well, yeah, because Odin doesn't even care enough to know where Loki is right now.
But Odin is still brooding over Thor, because even though Thor is banished, Thor is the only thing Odin can think about.
Right.
Oh god, so Loki's core beef still applies even with the for all the weird horse shit I was giving this comic about the party.
This page is good.
And
this page is good.
Yeah.
Last page was good too.
And the horse shit I was giving it for Carl.
Also the page with Loki in the tree.
Yeah, that one was good. Well, after this, it kind of breaks apart.
Of course it does.
As Thor rebukes this claim by deciding that Odin was always fair to them both, and it was Loki's fault for interpreting things the wrong way because their brain is evil, I guess.
Hey, you already took the step that says otherwise.
I think you could make a case for this being Thor's coping mechanism, defaulting to believing that Odin is in the right, as he was raised to do, but the way it's presented here makes it feel like that wasn't the intention. I don't know.
I think perhaps he's just not ready to approach thinking about how that actually all...
Dad wasn't just wrong that one time.
Well, because if he admits that Odin was shitty to Loki, then he also has to admit that Odin has been shitty to him.
But also, Loki was
the
right.
fact that Odin is shittier to Loki than Odin is to Thor.
Right.
And that is something that needs reckoning
and
with.
more than that, the incident that got Thor banished, that was
not an isolated incident.
And that's not the bridge Thor is ready to cross. Thor has crossed that was unacceptable. I need you to apologize. And Odin, being Odin,
he's just not there yet.
What is an apology? And why would I ever give you one?
Baby steps. Thor manages to kick Loki so hard that they drop the flaming sword, and he struggles to reach across the ground toward it, his arms blistered and bubbling. Just before his hand touches the hilt, Loki's foot stomps down. They retrieve the blade and inform us that 30 seconds have passed since the hammer left Thor's hand, and in 30 seconds more, he will revert to Donald Blake and be utterly defenseless.
Yeah, because that's always like, oh wow, big ups, you're a real big man beating up on a...
Right. Loki doesn't give a shit.
I mean, that's part of the fun.
As long as they win.
Yeah, true.
Loki, this is the thing that I love about Loki. Loki does not have those kinds of fucking morals. Loki doesn't give a shit about honor. Loki doesn't give a shit about courage.
Loki is a badass guardian.
Exactly. That's the thing about Loki.
But if Loki actually had Thor dead to rights, would he fucking strike right now? No, that's what
the
I'm
other
saying.
thing about Loki.
is a coward.
Loki is not gonna fucking
more
do
than
it.
that, Loki, despite all their posturing, still loves Thor, and we're gonna see that later. Not in this comic, but later down the line. But this is all Sif needs to hear to change her mind. She pleads with Karnilla to intercede, promising to help her in her quest to get her mans. The Norn Queen raises her hands to the sky and chants an incantation, which summons a thunderstorm.
Wow, if only there was someone here who could do something.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. If only there was someone here who could have done that the whole fucking time.
Amazing.
The sudden deluge distracts the trickster and rejuvenates Thor long enough for the latter to summon his hammer.
I really like this panel in the bottom left of Thor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He looks great there.
Nice shading on that.
Mm-hmm.
The fight resumes, but this time Thor...
Woo.
This time Thor bends the storm to his command, summoning a bolt of lightning to strike his sibling.
This time Thor remembers, oh yeah, I can control the weather.
Right.
I'm a god of thunder.
Sometimes he forgets.
I'm a god of thunder, not a god of hammers.
He's a himbo, we know this. When the smoke clears, the mischief god still stands, but the sword has been destroyed, and so has Loki's eyesight. They have been completely blinded, their eyes reduced to milky white voids.
Yes. Loki will never see again.
Never, ever, ever.
And Loki is definitely saying that they will never see again.
Okay,
Never.
Here's my idea. This is, you realize, okay, I can't actually, if I beat Thor, I will, have to kill my brother, and that's not cool, so, fake contacts, you've blinded me, brother! You've left me wounded for life!
That is the thing about Loki, and I didn't want to say that in specific terms, but it does actually happen in other comics where Loki gets to the point where they can get the killing blow and then doesn't.
I think the blindness is just pocket sand.
It might be.
On a nearby road, the bullpen guys watch through sheets of rain as someone steals Steve's car.
At least next time they won't have to worry about it fucking breaking down.
Behind them, Glynis emerges from the forest, completely fine and none the worse for wear. Then, Loki comes plunging out of the trees toward the sound of the pilfered vehicle, crying out for the driver to stop and help them. Without sight, they sprint straight across the road and fall off the cliff on the other side. The bullpen's down there what the fuck?
Huh. So that guy's dead, right?
Yeah, that guy in the Loki costume just jumped off a cliff. What the fuck?
Well, so I guess that happened. Anyhow, let's go find the car.
Yeah, I guess we can't really go back to the party. We do have to contact the authorities about the car.
I mean, they don't seem too plussed about the guy who would have just died.
Hildy, this is so much.
Thor returns to find Hildegard alone in the middle of the pouring rain. He asks after his lady, and Hildy informs him tearfully that she left with Karnilla to fulfill her promise. And she feels in her heart they will never see either of them again.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We're never going to see Sif ever again.
Hildy feels like she so sincerely buys into anything that is directly in front of her at any point in time.
I love her so much.
She just takes the world at face value. Okay, this looks like the bad guys, let's fight them. Oh, they're not actually the bad guys? Okay, let's fight them.
It does seem like she's not really able to deal with complex rule-breaking, though.
She's just kind of okay, here we go.
She can't deal with the actual complex rule-breaking. So everyone's defaulting to their old, we have to follow the rules because Thor's the boss. And Thor can break the rules because Thor's not actually the boss.
Because Thor's the boss.
Yes. And he got the punishment, but we still have to follow the rules, or he'll punish us.
They live in a fucking monarchy.
And he is the prince.
Right.
And only the prince can defy the king.
Not only the prince, but the heir apparent.
Right. So what would you guys rate that issue?
That was a wobbly, unbalanced mess.
Yeah. The portions that were Thor fighting Loki were good. The portions that were Thor fighting Carl were the fights were actually pretty interesting.
They were pretty standard with Thor fighting Carl.
Which
is not a bad thing.
The blending into the trees, all that. There's
the parts with the ball pen. Oh boy.
They were so utterly pointless.
They always are, but they actually did work better than last time.
I disagree.
Well, I mean, Glynis disappearing actually having a reason instead of just,
happening randomly?
Yeah, and then she just comes back.
Strengthening my theory that it's her fetish.
One day, we will know for sure.
I hope not. That'd be weird.
I don't want to know that. So rating?
It's hard to rate this.
Yeah, it's all over the damn place. So 3, I guess.
It's a safety 3. I'm giving a safety 3 because
it wouldn't have been a 3 if not for the Loki shit, which elevated it significantly.
Oh yeah. The Loki stuff was gold, but
because that was the first actual deep characterization that we've gotten for Loki,
and it makes sense that you're setting up. So there's been a pattern here. We're redoing old stories to do new ones.
We're making commentary on old stories.
Yeah, this is truly the deconstruction of Stan. Like, this whole thing
I'm rather enjoying it.
has almost explicitly existed to show Stan stories and do them right, do them better. And I
don't know about right. I think the idea is more groundedly, more realistically.
But I do feel like he is going out of his way to show what was wrong with the Stan stories when Stan did them. Which is why he's going over a lot of the same ground. I do think Jerry is trying to make a point. Like, he's trying to make a point way more than Chris Claremont ever did.
I don't know about that. I don't think that's completely fair. Chris Claremont was fucking revolutionary.
No, I don't think you're wrong, but I don't think Chris had as many bones to pick with his predecessor as Jerry does.
Oh, well, in that respect, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. This feels a little... I have some bones to pick with I liked a lot of what you did, but I have some issues with some of the things you did. Mm-hmm. I want to do them better. And now that I'm writing, I can.
Well, now that we've got the special Halloween issue out of the way, let's go on to Thor number 208.
That Halloween issue had, at least an issue of setup before it.
Yes, it did. Thor number 208 from November of 1972. Written by Jerry Conway, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Vince Colletta, cover by Gil Kane, colors by Stan Goldberg, and letters by Charlotte Jeter. Lots of names. Thor and Hildegard wordlessly fly...
Wow.
Wordlessly fly back to Manhattan. Every time Thor has to carry someone, it's different, and I just love seeing the fucking personalities. But they wordlessly fly back to Manhattan, dropping to the roof of Avengers Mansion in the middle of the night, and inadvertently waking up Jarvis as they set off an alarm.
Of course, because Jarvis must be prepared for all guests.
He climbs out of bed and goes to check the monitor, which pulls up a video feed of the two Asgardians on the roof. He wonders why they've returned without Sif, but goes to the sitting room to greet and offer them tea.
I love Jarvis.
Before the butler can even speak, though, Thor surges across the room to shout him down, ordering him out of the room.
Wow!
Oh, be nice to Jarvis!
Or you will be ejected from the premises.
Hildegard is like, what the fuck, dude? You're not the only person to ever have problems, and acting like an asshole isn't going to solve anything. She leaves him, and he looks after her in guilt for a long time before he finally sits, and eventually falls asleep.
Oh, right. I was about to say... he should be putting on the television, but then I remembered when it was, there's nothing on.
Oh, God, you're right.
He can't just depression watch at 4 a.m. or whatever it was that Jarvis said it was.
In his sleep, he relives the events of the past week, leading up to the loss of his lady Sif.
Oh, God, it's only been a week.
Oh, God.
They're acting like she's gone forever, and I don't get it, because she literally just went with Carnilla to find Balder, who is, lest we forget, camping with his bros. It shouldn't be that fucking hard.
Gone forever.
I don't understand why Carnilla couldn't find him
right.
in the first place.
Great question.
Carnilla,
she just wanted to fuck with Sif.
Are you fucking with Thor by fucking with Sif? Because I could totally buy that.
Could be. Eventually, the Thunder God awakens, and after resting, he has come to a conclusion. He was angry because he blamed himself for being too weak to beat Loki, leading to Sif's deal with Carnilla. No longer in turmoil, he knows what he must do. He goes to the kitchen where Jarvis is preparing breakfast, and he begs forgiveness for his cruel actions against the faithful butler. Jarvis is all too happy to forgive and forget, and so they shake on it, once more stalwart comrades.
Good.
Oh, Jarvis.
I love them.
I'm sure I've quite forgotten.
Later that morning, Carl Sauron, who you probably forgot about,
No, I remember.
arrives.
Sauron.
I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to avoid calling him Sauron.
I remember who this
But
is. What the fuck?
he arrives at his building, and he heads up to Dr. Blake's office as his mental narration gives us some indication that all is not as it seems. He enters the private office where the emanations that he seeks are the greatest. Here it should be simple enough to use his dimensional oscillator to open a portal, which transports him across the stars to a planet where pitch-black people live under a bright white sky.
Wait, what? Why is Dr. Blake's office have
Right?
this?
He arrives before a man sitting on a throne who speaks to him in a garbled language which he cannot comprehend. When he explains this, the figure switches to English to address him.
Convenient.
He is Mercurio, a native of... Carl, is Mercurio, a native of this world who was implanted into Carl Sauron's body to enact a mission of grave importance. His world has need of Earth's magnetic field in order to survive, and his dimensional oscillator was built for just this purpose. The face of the man on the throne fades, and Mercurio is alone in the dark of Blake's office. He will succeed. During the past months, the oscillator has lain in this room, absorbing the ambient energy left by the many times that Donald Blake transformed into Thor, and vice versa.
Oh no.
Those energies will now return Mercurio to his natural form, that of the fourth-dimensional man. But the transformation only works halfway, and the power in the device fades. He tries again and again to finish his change, but nothing happens.
Oh man, he can't finish.
And so, fuck you. And so he comes to a decision about his next action.
What the fuck was any of that?
I don't know.
It was introducing a villain.
Why did any of that... I mean, like, I understand that, but I have some problems with the conception.
Question,
Yeah.
Is this a reoccurring character?
We'll see. I'm not gonna tell you that. Thor stands on a rooftop, brooding, until he sees the arrival of the jet car that the Warriors 3 borrowed for their camping trip. He greets the three and asks after Balder, but is told only that he has decided to journey alone in an attempt to clear his mind.
Wait, so Carnilla already knew?
No.
No.
How would she know that?
Well, so either she already
Her million fucking looking glasses?
she's the only either she is really just dead set on fucking with Thor by way of Sif, and I don't know, most of the time when she does a thing, she seems to want something specific out of it. Or she knew Balder was actually gone and had already skipped a few steps ahead, which tracks more.
She wants to catch up with him, and Sif has the gift of teleportation.
That's true. Sif can teleport. We constantly forget that.
And I'm sure Sif forgets that too.
Yeah. Well, that simply won't do, as Sif cannot return until Carnilla finds Balder. And that will be harder if the motherfucker doesn't stay still. The Thunder God explains this to his buddies and then takes to the sky. He heads west, but as he passes over a familiar building, he feels a sudden chill and is compelled to stop. He drops to the ledge and climbs in the window of Dr. Blake's medical office. Inside, the furniture is seething with an arcane light, which he ponders for a moment before Mercurio gets the drop on him. An obsidian hand shoots out from around the corner to grab the Odinson's shoulder, and he falls back as a writhing flame engulfs his skin.
You know, Thor's getting hurt. That's also kind of new.
Yeah, Jerry treats Thor as a lot more fallible than Stan ever did.
Yeah, Stan basically made, like, there are already very little stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Thor himself couldn't get hurt.
Not really.
So it was always really weird when Odin would come and save the day, because was Thor actually in any danger?
Right. But yeah.
Jerry's more than willing to hurt the guy.
Yep. The fourth dimensional man leaps out like, "That's right, Thunder God," explaining that due to his partially transformed state, he wields fire with his left hand. He grabs Thor's other arm with his right hand, which emits a chilling permafrost.
Would you do the arm the hot arm with the cold arm?
You know what he reminds me of? That one Marvel team-up issue with Bobby and Johnny Storm.
I don't know. I feel like I could give him a better name. IcyHot.
IcyHot. That's pretty good. Thor knocks him backwards like, I don't give a shit, and I have no idea who you are, but you're gonna learn today, boy.
Motherfucker's gonna find out.
You fucked around.
Mercurio says something about how this will make his task easier, but Thor ignores that and hits him with Mjolnir. Unfortunately, all this succeeds in doing is instantly freezing both the hammer and the hand holding it.
Oh!
The fourth dimensional man attacks him with fire while monologuing an explanation. The mystical energy that Thor emits, which lingers on the things that he touches, it's that free-flowing aura of electrons.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, yeah.
It lingers on the things that he touches, brought him here, or half of him at least. The only way to complete the transfer is to absorb all the power that the Thunder God has, which of course will kill him.
So does that mean that there's another half Mercurio and he has, like, made two of himself?
I don't know.
I don't even understand what half of him means.
Yeah, I have no idea.
He seems like a complete person. What does the
also? I don't
Mercurio
know. I don't know what being fourth dimensional has to do with this. Maybe I don't know.
He's a creature from the fourth dimension.
Well, Thor isn't too keen on that idea, and he stumbles back into the wall, only to find it made brittle by ice.
Mm-hmm.
He breaks clean through the stone and falls to the street below. Catching himself at the last minute by swinging Mjolnir to hover just above the sidewalk. The fourth dimensional man glides down on thermal currents, whatever that means.
I mean, I know that's a thing, especially in cities.
Yeah. Okay.
Cities are like lousy with them. There's a massive temperature difference in cities compared to outside of them. Gliders love it.
Well, he touches the ground, and fire erupts around the Asgardian, but Thor summons a shower of rain to put it out. From down the street, a random police officer arrives and takes issue with Thor causing problems on his beat.
What? What?
Thor is like, hey, you might want to not be here.
But
the cop
Don't worry, I got this!
The cop doesn't listen and then gets frozen solid.
Yeah, I don't got this!
Well, rip the cop.
The fourth dimensional man says that the rest of the city will follow unless Thor submits to him. 20 minutes ago, the Warriors 3 approached the Vision.
Oh, hi, Vision! What you
Vision
doing here?
is here now.
You're in this? Sure!
Taking his posture to be a poor mood, Fandral attempted to cheer him up, but the synthezoid was bored. Mostly.
I'm sorry, but I don't think he has feelings yet.
It's his turn to watch the monitors for encroaching threats, and for a mechanical mind like his, this is a difficult task to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Fandral understands, and he asks if the monitor is capable of viewing more distant scenes, like Asgard.
Why would it be?
Why would it be?
Okay,
well,
Vision?
It can, for some reason.
Vision, how do you have Asgard bugged?
The text implies that a satellite somehow got a feed of the Golden City, which is a thing that I just don't have the energy to question.
That exists for some reason.
Thanks, CIA.
ANN Asgard News Network. Just caught the feed.
Personally, I like the idea that the CIA managed to put a satellite near Asgard.
They got an agent.
Mm-hmm.
Fandral gazes at the far-off realm for a long moment.
Oh god, the agent is Loki.
And how dare you imply that Loki would work for the government?
For money? To
For
fuck
chaos?
To fuck with Dad?
Government is not chaos!
If you can use the government to create chaos, would Loki not do it?
I suppose. Fandral gazes at the far-off realm for a long moment, and then with a heavy heart, he presses a button to change the scene. Vision apologizes, having not expected the scene to upset his Asgardian friends, but then all of them see Thor battling the fourth dimensional man, and it's game on.
Wow, you switched the channel to the exact right one.
Right? The Warriors 3 run outside and see a cab passing by, which Fandral decides he's just going to jump on top of and surf to their destination.
That tracks.
Yeah, he's a car surfer.
I mean, he'd do that if it was a horse.
Well, the other two follow him. And Fandral leans down to give their destination to a very perturbed cabbie who vows to go back to the Bronx where shit like this doesn't happen.
That's fair.
They ghost ride the whip all the way to the site of the battle, then leap off and run straight for the fourth dimensional man without even pausing for a quip. Unfortunately, their haste means they don't notice that Thor has vanished in the interim.
Well, rip Thor, I guess.
Apparently, after seeing his buds arrived, he decided that they should have the situation well in hand and took off to do some research at the library.
He went to the library!
Where he ran into Mechano! Trying to... Oh, he didn't do... Thank God.
I hope it was worth it, because the boys aren't doing so hot when he comes back half a fucking hour later.
What the fuck?
This is probably the most ridiculous thing that could have happened. My dude straight up left to go to the fucking library in the middle of a fight, and I literally cannot think of a single other instance of this happening in a superhero comic.
That is some fucking silver age. That is some golden age
That's
shit there.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's... Jerry, you did a story out of your era.
When he reappears, Thor has a steel girder in his hand, which he chucks down at the fourth dimensional man. He shoots a beam of energy out of Mjolnir, melting the beam as it falls. The molten steel rains down on Mercurio, coating him in a metal shell that causes the warring forces of heat and cold to destroy each other. The fourth dimensional man screams that by killing him, Thor has also killed his world, and then fizzles away.
He has also killed his landlord, so free rent forever.
But does he
Great
know
point.
that he killed his landlord?
No!
And, wait. If Mercurio is dead, does anyone have any control over that building at all? Or
No.
has it all gone to the dogs?
Yep. So I guess Thor went and did some research on, thermodynamics and found a science-based solution. I appreciate for once them acknowledging that being a medical doctor doesn't mean he knows everything about everything. But I think this one case where I would have accepted if he had just known this.
Right.
Or, you know what? How about he accidentally, just, in desperation, throws a steel girder at him?
Because anything makes more sense than
Leaving to go to the library.
So I gotta know. Does he come back?
So I have a stupid thing.
Hang on, let me check.
This would be a really good place for a guest appearance from, I don't know, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be okay, wait, I know what to do.
God, he does come back.
Well, I mean, if they said you've destroyed my world and they didn't take that anywhere, I'd be pretty disappointed.
He comes back in Thor 2:14, so it's even going to not be that long.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like I said, you're gonna leave that detail, that haunting little detail,
I suppose.
Not take it anywhere.
But this was a nothing burger. This was two buns with nothing between it.
Yeah.
Vision was cool. I liked
Vision was there.
Vision is generally cool, is the thing.
Jarvis is cool. Jarvis was cool.
Look, Vision and Jarvis are usually great in the things they're in.
So, what would you guys rate this issue?
Low 3. Soft 3.
2.
I'd also give it a 2. I don't think it needs to exist.
It's not the 1 we experienced earlier.
Mercurio is so backwards.
He's weird.
I don't understand.
I just mean, this is old shit. Don't do this. This is old shit.
Mm-hmm.
Go forward. This is weird story.
Do we have anything?
What? 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 What?
Well, let's continue this non-stop train of bullshit.
All right.
With Thor number 209.
Jerry, why are you...
From December of 1972.
Are those soldiers from World War I, Jerry?
They sure look like it.
Written by Jerry Conway, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Vince Coletta.
That's Stonehenge.
Colored by Petra Scatezzi, lettered by John Costanza, and the cover art by Gil Kane.
Got the Doughboys.
Doughboys? Stonehenge? The Day of the Deadly Druid? What
There
is...
is so so much going on. I'm into
A big blue man who has Thor by the cape?
Big blue man. Big blue man.
Let's get into it.
We have the Na'vi at home.
Now on a quest to find his lady, Thor has arrived in London. The sun has set here, and he lands on a darkened street, where he bangs his hammer on the ground to change forms to Donald Blake.
But when I heard Baldur headed off on his own, I kind of just, envisioned him on a motorcycle riding west. How the fuck did he get to London?
He took the channel under the Atlantic Ocean.
The channel?
Yes. The Channel Tunnel. That goes under the Atlantic Ocean as well.
The Atlantic Channel?
Yes. It goes left. It goes left at the fork. The fork. That a train tunnel definitely
You take it up to Nova Scotia, you can't miss it.
Yeah, you understand. You understand.
Well, he bangs his hammer on the ground to change into Donald Blake, little knowing that striking the ground has sent subtle vibrations into his slumbering, human-like form interred beneath the earth.
Wait, there's just a guy way underneath Avengers Mansion?
No, this is London.
Oh, wait, no, they're in London. Yeah,
middle of London.
Fuck, I entirely forgot.
That, after complaining about being in London.
Yeah, that's really fucking cool looking. I'm sorry, I got so distracted by how fucking cool that looks.
It does look cool.
This page is really cool.
This story is weird, but this looks cool.
Sigils begin to glow on the rocky surface as it awakens in the depths below the pavement. Don crosses the street toward a local pub, where the regulars immediately clock him as an American, and immediately hate his guts.
Wow, you're welcome, England.
You're welcome for freedom!
I'm sorry, we could just give you back to the Germans, if you want. You only we're only able to stay free because of us.
We helped stop you from being under perpetual blitz for this!
He orders a sandwich and a pint, then sits alone in a booth. He feels weak and dizzy, and as it's been too long since he last ate. As a god, Thor doesn't need to eat regularly, but Don is all too human.
So he probably shouldn't be drinking on an empty stomach.
No, probably not.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, he's a Viking god.
Yeah, but I get the feeling that Don can put away half a beer.
That's true. He does kind of seem like a lightweight. He starts in on his meal, only to be interrupted by Odin's vizier appearing in the seat across from him.
Which I was not expecting.
No. Don is concerned about this, but the vizier assures him that the people in the pub will see him as a normal human, while Blake alone sees the truth. The vizier asks what the hell he's doing here, and Don begins to explain the situation with Sif.
Oh god, the story he's got.
I love that the vizier's just kind of a nosy bitch.
I know.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have it's ever since Jerry started writing, the vizier's job has been weird.
Yeah, he's just kind of around.
Because, before, he seemed to, whatever Stan thought the vizier was for, that's what he did. Now, Jerry doesn't seem to know what the vizier was there
He's only
in the first
really
place.
useful when you're on Asgard, but I really like him as a character. So.
He's a nosy bitch.
I would like him more if he had a fucking name.
True.
True.
Jerry, you're writing the series. Name him.
Please.
We learned that Thor has been flying around looking for Sif for the past 10 days, with
no.
nothing to show for his efforts. The vizier pauses before responding to this, but the conversation is cut short as the ground begins to shake, toppling the table and sending Don sprawling on the floor. The vizier is like, ah, damn it, and pieces out so he doesn't get caught violating Odin's orders.
Nosy bitch.
Donald Blake stumbles toward the door of the pub with the other patrons, where they all see the street outside buckle and then break apart, as a figure in a stone cocoon shoots upward out of the ground.
Oh!
The way he does it is, I don't know why it's so funny. He's just arms at his side, just...
Stoic. He's so stoic about it.
Just boom, out of the earth.
While with everyone's attention pretty firmly fixed on the road outside, Don takes the opportunity to change back into Thor in the middle of the bar. The patrons turn at the Flash and are quite confused to find what they consider to be an American superhero having randomly appeared behind them.
Fucking Americans again! This guy too! Another one!
An American superhero. Yeah, that's what Thor is. He's an American
another
superhero.
fucking Yankee. Can you believe?
Can you believe this Norse?
Don't let the fucking accent fool you.
He's
American.
Can you believe that Norse god is an American?
It's fucked up, man.
I do like envisioning them actually talking with like a Norwegian accent.
I do too. Thor exits the building to challenge the mysterious floating being, a man with blue skin and white hair who calls himself the Demon Druid.
Oh god.
Okay.
I'm changing my Discord name to the Demon Druid.
The Thunder God orders him to stop floating so they can have a civilized conversation, and the Druid gives a dismissive response while blasting him with a beam. He doesn't even look, he just points and shoots.
So, we're not having a conversation here.
No.
Talks have ended.
Talks have ended. The blast knocks our hero back, slamming him into a nearby car. He passes out. Partially because of the hit, and partially because he hasn't slept in 10 days, I'm sure.
Oh my god. It's like, yeah, okay, I think I'm just gonna...
Just take a nap.
Just gonna stay here for a minute and catch my breath.
The Druid lands and heads off somewhere else while mumbling about completing his mission on this planet, which tells us that he's just another random alien that we don't need to care about.
God damn it. Then why are you called the Demon Druid?
Thor awakens 15 minutes later with the police lieutenant crouching over him. A crowd has gathered, but are being held back bodily by cops in those silly helmets.
Bobbies!
They're standing really strangely. Like
They are.
Those are really weird.
They're
really
A-posing.
weird.
Yeah, they are.
A-posing aggressively.
The Odinson makes to go after the Demon Druid, but his new buddy from Scotland Yard pulls him into a surveillance truck to show him something. They pull up a video feed of the Druid, which makes sense because London is the most surveilled place on the planet.
True, though I don't know at this point if it would have been.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't actually think it was yet.
Well, the blue bitch seems to have some kind of force field which repels everything near him. They watch his infantrymen fire tanks at him, to no avail.
Ooh, that's so dangerous!
Ooh, tanks.
The military gets nerfed. I mean, it's the
British
British military, but hey.
Yeah.
What military?
The lieutenant seems to notice something unusual in the instant that the shells make contact, but whatever it is, he doesn't share with the class.
Why?
This obviously hasn't deterred Thor at all, who takes off into the sky to hunt down this alien menace.
Maybe you should have said the same thing, my guy.
Right. After he leaves, a man from the Royal Astronomical Society approaches the lieutenant and asks if he can take a strange carved rock from the scene. It's quite rare, and by his estimation, over 3,000 years old. This is a surprise tool that will help us later.
It's a part of an active crime scene.
It is.
So...
And the cops but still, like, what are you gonna do? Like, any random rock that happens, you're just gonna, hey, Mr. Officer, can I take this fucking rock?
What do you do? Put it on eBay?
No, he's from the Royal Astronomical Society.
That's a really cool pose.
Yeah, it is. Thor meets back up with the Demon Druid, who snaps off another beam, but the God of Thunder learns from his experiences and takes this one much better.
Yeah, who's on the art? They're killing it, man.
John Buscema.
Yeah,
John is fucking killing it.
He is getting better. Like, we have watched him grow.
Nice.
Because he's been doing art pretty regularly for a while now, I think.
Yep.
He leaps into the fight, introducing himself as the son of Odin, which stirs a memory within the Druid. It's a familiar name, but one that matters not, as he declares that Odin lives no more, while delivering a solid punch straight to Thor's jaw.
My guy, you've been entombed in the earth for an unknown amount of time. You would not be the one to know if Odin was alive or dead.
It's true. And once more, the Asgardian has been removed from play, as he is thrown headlong into a wall.
God, and now we're back at the fucking library.
We are back at the library.
Different library, same basic concept.
The lieutenant is reading a book about Stonehenge, which is very subtle.
It was on the cover.
Yeah. Apparently, it's 2 fucking hours until Thor regains consciousness this time.
Oh my god, that's the pattern on his, shirt?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I've never seen that.
Thor's pretty pissed at this point, and ready for this shit to be over. He flies off toward the druid once more, determined to put an end to whatever his deal is.
Thor, you're getting brain damage. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like in another life, you're a doctor, and you know that.
That's what the helmet's for.
Yes, but he's been unconscious for multiple times,
It's fine.
It's his special boy helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thor loves traumatic brain injuries.
It's fine. He's fine. The druid is also getting annoyed by these interruptions, as it's been far too long already, and he must complete his quest. The demon druid's force field blasts apart the forest around them, but Thor repels the shrapnel with his whirling hammer. The British army, who have followed these two weirdos, get caught in the maelstrom. Druid continues to blast Thor, calling him an imposter and swearing in the name of Woden. Hurtling backward from the assault, Thor grabs onto a rock and then points his hammer at his foe to deliver a beam of his own. One that hits the blue fucker square in the head.
Beam battle!
Beams.
Druid shrieks in pain as he is engulfed, declaring vengeance for this attack, which he delivers, even as he is struggling to stand under the Odinson's power.
Wow.
Suddenly struck, Thor falls, and so does the demon druid.
So now he has a traumatic brain injury too. Great.
The army lads move in with some netting to capture, literally a net,
Put him in nets.
to capture the druid, but our friend from Scotland Yard pulls up just in time, ordering them to cease.
I dare say we can handle him. No.
Can you?
You've got a fucking net, dude.
Did you see what happened to your tanks
You hit him
earlier?
with a fucking tank.
As he begins to explain, Druid stirs, and it's all the lieutenant can do to hold the soldiers off as the blue man rises and trudges toward his destination, Stonehenge. So basically, this guy is a member of a super advanced alien race that visited Earth centuries ago and accidentally inspired Celtic paganism. Stonehenge is a teleporter that zaps him away. This is an episode of Ancient Aliens.
Okay,
And yeah, that's it. The druid just leaves.
So if he'd have just popped out of the earth and gone to Stonehenge and none of this fighting had happened, it would have been fine.
It would have been fine. He leaves, and it turns out this whole time he was just trying to go home, and he was just acting in defense, which, no, actually, he wasn't. He blasted Thor right out the gate.
I would like to talk to you!
When our
Blam!
boy was just trying to talk to him, if he hadn't done that, Thor wouldn't have been trying to fight him at all. This is stupid, and Thor thinks so too, because he's already stopped thinking about it, and has returned to his single-minded goal of fighting Sif.
I gotta find my girlfriend!
This was... Of all these issues, this one was the most pointless.
Does this man come back?
Yeah, it's weird that the Rutland issue is the best of these.
So far.
Because God, I hate Rutland.
He next appears in Excalibur.
Whatever that is.
Well, that tracks, though, because Excalibur is set in England.
Yeah, it's a British thing.
It sounds like a British thing. I don't know any. I've never heard of it.
They are actually an offshoot supergroup of the X-Men.
They are.
Wow, okay.
We will get to Excalibur.
Oh, yeah.
So you're telling me we're gonna see this blue bitch again?
Yep.
I suppose I am saying that.
Yep.
Fuck.
So what did you guys think of this issue? It was a comic.
Sean had some really nice art.
True. But so did that Halloween special. That from the X-Men.
2 stars.
Barely.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't know why this exists.
Yeah. These last 2 issues are like those weird, one-off stories with random one-off villains that Stan used to do.
Yeah.
Was this to fill space?
I have no idea.
Deadline problems.
I feel like this might have been deadline problems.
It could be.
I mean, a new setting is at least kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, they're not in New York for once.
Yeah.
For once. Although, Thor, an American superhero.
An American superhero.
American superhero Thor.
American Norse god, Thor.
I mean, he does mostly hang out in New York, to be fair.
Norse American.
Norse American. You know, that very large demographic. Old Norse American. This is barely getting a 2 for me.
Yeah.
What did CMRO think?
Oh, 2.66.
Alright, they're not too far
No,
off
they've
us.
been pretty on track with us this past few
That's
issues.
good.
The only time I really ever bring it up is if it's like something that you would not expect.
I feel like that was more common in the Stan era. That people
Yeah.
were overly fond of some Stan stories that didn't make sense.
I don't know. I feel like we're gonna get to plenty of stuff that is badly rated.
I
There's
take it.
a lot of things.
I take
Yeah.
it Jerry's got a
But,
mixed
like,
bag.
Well, no, I don't mean Jerry. I just mean
in general.
other
Mm.
future comics. Cause like
I know Chris has some stinkers.
any random fucking comic from the middle of 1972 isn't gonna, like, sway people that strongly either way. Cause, like, just think of how many people have actually read this.
That's a good question. How many people who read this after 72?
God, I need to go in CMRO and add a whole bunch of stuff to my read list because I have read a whole bunch of shit now.
Yeah.
True.
But, that's all I got.
Ulick. for next time.
Ulick!
A name I recognize.
Yeah!
It's been a while.
Ulick, my boy. I barely know about you. But I recognize your name and familiarity. And I don't hate you like, say, Arcade.
Sorry, wait. There's one review on this issue on CMRO
Please.
by Riker Donegal from September 13th of 2015.
Ooh.
The first of the 16 issues I've read recently that is a solo Thor outing. Pity it's such an average slugfest story. Jerry Conway's version of England is rather quaint too. 50% amusing, 50% annoying. 5 out of 10.
Right on board.
Thanks, Riker Donegal.
Oh, with a name like that, they might be British.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine he shows up into this ye old pub here in the middle of fucking London.
And everyone thinks, American superhero Thor!
Anyway, that's it, right?
That's the final?
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
the game. Alright, well, that's gonna be it for us this week. Don't forget, hit that like button down below if you're on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that. If you're not on YouTube, get on YouTube, because we're not gonna be here much longer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All that done, that's it for us this week, and we're gonna be back with another double feature 2 weeks from now. And we look forward to talking to you then. Bye!
Bye.